All right. Hello again. How's everybody doing in the chat? I can see you this time. I wasn't looking at the chat before, but I am now because our next game still isn't quite ready, but we wanted to hop in here and talk a little bit more about these standings and about what we've seen so far tonight. Again, for anyone who's new, I am the Nurk, and I am still joined by my best friend and co-caster, Psych Eric. How you doing, Psy?
I'm still alive.
Good,
Drinking
good.
a lot of water, hydrate or dehydrate. What can I say?
Well, you're still alive, but that's more than can be said for a lot of the teams that signed up in our bracket tonight, most of whom have already been eliminated. Looks like we already have, just in round one, we lost half of the competition. That's going to be Bills McDiggity, EB, IDK Yet, and Question Mark, all eliminated at the very beginning of the tournament in round one. Now, of course, that's the nature of a single elimination tournament, but it's still sad to see so many of them gone so fast.
Hey, a lot of people lived up to their name, Back2Fort made it through. It got sent back, and IDK Yet didn't change the name, didn't get to the next round. So, I'm excited for these games coming up. But looking back, we had a lot of interesting games, a lot of interesting play. Looking from one team to the next, right? Cleaner Crew, that Stinger strategy versus Back2Fort versus Unit 5, that tall boy swap we found out for that hard win on Trailer Trash was because they were swapping tall boys. They kept that aggression incredibly hard.
Didn't realize it till the very end, but they were taking out a strat known as hot swapping. So for anyone who doesn't know in the chat, what that means is you have two players that are playing a specific type of ridden, and they're going to go in and do their thing. But then as soon as they die, they immediately swap to another ridden class. Then the other two players do not spawn in until those two are out. And then they swap to that new class. And what you can effectively get is two back-to-back tall boy pushes. Now you're trading out the fact that you don't have any support for that double tall boy push, right? There's no there's if you do it with the full 4-man hot swap, there's no Retchgoo, there's no Stinger following up in the back, there's no Exploder to stop the stabilize, but it does effectively let you get a lot of tall boys back to back. And we found out that that was part of the reason that it was so decisive, is because there was a 3-man tall boy hot swap going on at the very end there.
Very niche strategy, something we haven't really seen completely explored. I joke around with the 4-man Exploder because it's the best strategy and you can't teach me otherwise. I will be ignorant. But it's a very strong strategy. Swapping those tall boys, getting just an uptime of damage, not letting them rest or recuperate is very strong. And we saw just Unit 5 nailing it. We saw, a lot of stuff that, they're unique. The strategies are their own, and that gives me so much joy, just straight up.
There's definitely a lot of variability in ways to play organized Swarm, and I think as we get more true teams formed and we host more events like this, and as more groups start to host more organized events like this, I think we'll start to see some of those strategies start to sift to the top of the meta, and some of those strategies start to sift to the bottom. Right now is a really, really exciting time for Swarm Esports, just in general, because anything can happen. Anything can work. You get your quad Exploder strat, and we saw the double Exploder almost work miracles for IDK Yet back in round one, right? And we know that Cleaner Crew's double Stinger strat does work, and neither of those strategies even came into play for the round 2 game that we spectated with Back2Fort versus Unit 5. So there's a lot of ways to play the game, and seeing how they all interact in real time and trying to make predictions about it, I just absolutely love it. I can't get enough of it.
Already. And if you're looking to expand your skill, you have a hankering for Swarm, but randoms aren't really giving you what you're looking for. We got some good news. We're hosting pugs for Swarm. Get your feet wet, play with people in the community, people maybe you'll see me, maybe you'll see Nurk, just chilling around, playing some games and having fun. So if you think that you have what it takes, come join the Discord in the description and hang out, play some games. It'll be right now, Tuesdays around 7 to 9. It depends each week, and
The next set of
you'll have
pugs
a
is
thing.
scheduled right now for this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m.
8
EST.
p.m. Right
We're
in the
looking to
middle.
expand that schedule in the future as well. So if you can't make that, that's all right. You could still join the server, attend another one in the future. Anyways, broadcasters talking in our ears. We now have confirmation Cleaner Crew has 2-0'd the Bearded Men after a hard-fought round one, only winning 2-1 versus ? The Bearded Men, unfortunately, are going to fall to Cleaner Crew in round 2, and that means Cleaner Crew is going to the grand finals versus Unit 5. This is really exciting. It's exciting for a different reason than I thought it was going to be. Unit 5, like I mentioned before, made up of players who got together especially for this tournament, but they have proven that practice time isn't the only thing that makes a good team. A good team is someone with 4 players who can communicate well, who all know how to make plays, and who don't make massive mistakes every 5 seconds. And just with those fundamentals, even with very minimal scrim time in the week leading up to the actual tournament match tonight, they have made it all the way to the grand finals. They have secured themselves the second place finish, a minimum of $10 per player going to their PayPals at the end of the game. And now they're going to be given the opportunity to fight for $40 per player to bring the total prize pool up to $200. And the reason I am especially interested in this game is one of the players on Unit 5, BBD, is the name he goes by in game. In Discord, he goes by To The Death. And sorry, I'm still looking at the chat right now. Anyways, he goes by To The Death. And Cleaner Crew, with that double stinger strategy, SD, the stinger that pioneered that strategy, has actually admitted that To The Death is one of the only sniper players that can reliably win the 1v1 against him.
Ooh. So we're
And
really
so-
seeing a Superman and Kryptonite situation here, and for any new viewers that came in, Cleaner Crew was able to get to 2-0 on Bearded Men, so we will be hopping into a game pretty soon. Sadly, Bearded Men of Space Station 11 had to hit the escape pod and is returning down to Earth. So Unit 5 versus Cleaner Fuse. Cleaner Crew, nice try. Did it again, but we're here.
I am very, very excited.
So what's your prediction here? Right. We say we got SD. That's going to be our Superman in this situation. We got DBD To The Death. He's going to be our kryptonite.
All right. Well, you know what? I got to be honest about something.
Mhm.
I made predictions earlier today before the broadcast started, and I was completely wrong. I was just completely, totally, and utterly wrong about pretty much everything. I thought Back2Fort was going to be a shoo-in to go all the way to the grand finals. Pretty much the only thing I was right about is I thought Cleaner Crew would also make it to the grand finals. But literally, let me run down my predictions here so that you guys can make fun of me about exactly how wrong I was. I said Back2Fort would beat Bills with Diggity. That did happen. I said EB would beat Unit 5. Completely wrong there. EB got ousted almost immediately. I said Cleaner Crew would beat IDK yet. That one I did get right. I said ? would 2-0 Bearded Men. Right? And so that was also wrong. Then in round 2, I was sure it was going to be Back2Fort versus EB and that Back2Fort was going to win. I thought Back2Fort was going to beat EB in round 2 and head to the grand finals where they would face off against Cleaner Crew. So my track record for predictions so far with this particular bracket has not been good, Psychic. But since you asked, I think Unit 5 has proven that they are a dark horse. They have what it takes. We know that To The Death is playing on that team, and SD has himself said that To The Death is one of the scariest players for him to play against. And To The Death knows that they run this double stinger strategy and knows how to counter it. So I think it's going to go 3-1 or 3-2 for Unit 5.
Alrighty. So I'm going to make my own predictions here, right? I think Unit 5 has what it takes. They have their skill, they have their strategy. They were built for this, literally. And Cleaner Crew, same thing. They have that SD, they have the potency. I think it's going to go 2-2. But the last map, it's going to probably go to Heralds of the Worm. It's going to go 1-1. And then we're going to see Unit 5 pull out the 4 Exploder Hot Swap strategy and decimate. That's my strategy. Put it in the books. Send
You're
it.
really championing that strategy, huh? That 4 Exploder Hot Swap.
You haven't been right all night.
I haven't been right all night. No, that's true. That's true. And we haven't seen the 4 Exploder Hot Swap yet. I would love to. I'd love to show it off.
Well, you will in the grand finals, last map, and it will be the reason they win. So, have a good one.
This is going to be a fantastic match either way. We're going to be hopping in with Unit 5's POV for the grand finals. This is going to be best of 5 instead of best of 3. So they don't just have to win 2. They have to win 3. They can't just get lucky 4 rounds in a row and get tons of nades. They got to win 3 games before they are labeled the champions of the first ever Riptide Swarm Tournament and walk away with $160 in prizes. And again, both of these teams have already won something. Both of these teams are going home with something. Even if they lose this match, they're still going home with $10 per player.
Alrighty, so we're hopping right in here. This is going to be the grand finals. Tell your wives, tell your husbands, tell your daughters and kids, because this is where it all goes down.
Has anyone ever told you that you try too hard to be quirky sometimes?
Yeah, it's part of the charm.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, so for the Ridden comp, it looks like Unit 5 is going to be running Keithestus on their Exploder. We mentioned earlier, Keith is an Exploder player. He's got experience. This is also a rather good map for it. Lots of places he can spawn to get right on top of people before they have any chance to do anything about it. Other than that, we're going to see a fairly standard double tall boy wretch setup. Also very, very good for this map. So we're going to be looking for the location of the red barrel, which is right in the center. This is interesting. The red barrel is next to the car. So that's actually a bad spawn for the cleaner crew this time around because they can't use the barrel without also using the car. They have to use both at the same time because if the barrel blows up, it will take the car with it. Anyone who doesn't know, you can shoot cars to make them explode, and that will do a ton of AoE damage to cleaners and Ridden. This is also something the Ridden can take advantage of if they are running Exploder, which they are, because if the Exploder goes off right in front of a car, it will also set it off, and that can do a ton of damage to the cleaners. So we'll have to see how this first fight formats.
Alrighty. Tallboy's getting a very quick spawn, knocking him under the Exploder on the high ground, potentially. Nades coming out. They are able to wipe them. The Exploder existing on the high ground. That's a wretch if my eyes are going to reset here. And lots of ticks from the wretch here.
Lots of ticks here from To The Death on the wretch. Getting this point farm, not just for him, but for the whole team. Every time you do damage on the Ridden side, the whole team gets points for it. This is absolutely the play up here. Just sit here, take the first minute and a half or so, build up points. Then you start to get your tall boy upgrades. They start to look a little bit more scary.
Oh, missing the nade there. The tall boy engaging pretty aggressively, trying to split one off from the main pack, trying to get him under that wretch. And it was not enough. Getting that nade blocked by line of sight. The wretch on the side of the Ridden getting popped here. This is going to be a stagger fight if they do try to engage.
Absolutely. So we're looking now. It's a bit concerning how little damage Cleaner Crew has actually taken at the minute and 15-second mark. Notice where Cleaner Crew is standing. See how right now Unit 5 is having a hard time even finding good spawn locations. That's something called controlling spawns. Very good habit for Cleaner Crew to be in. It makes it difficult for Tall Boys to close the distance.
Oh, Nade once again hitting this natural cover, not actually popping the tall boys instantaneously, showing how potent that bomb squad is going to actually be. Now they're going to be respawning here.
Well, there's still lots of chances to make plays happen here, but at 2 minutes, we have not seen a lot of resources first out of the Cleaner Crew.
Ooh, getting knocked back into the zone. There might be a knock potentially. And yep, the Rechgu taking down the mom, I believe. No, it was mom actually got res there, I believe.
Well, it took long enough. We'll have to see if this extra wretch coverage from Death can follow up. It looks like he can. There's an exploder, too. That's a massive amount of damage. Maybe on the back of the Reeker players. We're going to end this round out at just 2 minutes.
Oh, denying the mom res potentially. They haven't invested it just yet. And they have a Reeker actually coming in, getting face to face. I was not expecting a Reeker coming in tonight.
Wow, that was very sudden, right? Very 0 to 60 there. So what you saw was that was about 2 minutes of spawns being really well controlled. And then what happened is the ring in the back actually took over the tow truck. And the tow truck is where the cleaner crew is standing to control a lot of those spawns in the back. As soon as they can't stand there anymore because of the ring, now you have a lot of spawns available on that whole side of the map. Tallboy takes it, gets one double hit. Death is in comms. He's talking with the tall boy. He knows exactly where he's supposed to be looking. He gets that Rechgu right under everyone's feet. The combination of the two is basically a triple kill for the two of them combined. And then the follow-up is just more Rechgu. No one's on top of Death. No one looked at him that whole fight. So we got 3 whole vomits out.
Oh, absolutely devastating. I thought it was going to be a pretty open and shut case, this map. It looked like a very strong defense even. And
I agree.
Instant, just flip of a dime. Like we said, esports, always comeback potential. And maybe we'll see this on the opposite side here.
What you're seeing now is something called holding spawns. What you do is you have one player on your team wait to ready up, because that way everyone else can go place their stuff in wherever the stockpile is going to be, and they can go to wherever it is that they start their loot pathing from. So you'll see that all of them now on Unit 5 are going to different locations. As soon as the last person spawns in, they will all immediately start running on their loot paths, that most of which have been predetermined in scrims before we get here.
Mine now. Nearly out. Fortify yourself.
So again, things to look for. We're looking for, where is the red barrel? It's going to be in the little swamp area on the right of the military trucks. We're also looking for the propane tank or tanks. Sometimes 2 spawn. That could be really, really valuable as well. We're also looking for toolkits, because card advantage for the cleaners is a massive difference maker. It can let you get sections of your build online well before you would actually expect to be able to. For example, we're going to see Mom getting Combat Medic in round 1. That is not intended. That's not what they had in mind when they made this build, but a Mom with Combat Medic is a scary thing.
Once they get knocked down, get brought right back up, half health. And that's without your other cards being taken into account.
We're seeing the same good positioning here, controlling spawns, make it as hard as possible for the cleaner crew to get any useful locations on map control.
Stinger taking up the high ground, getting some damage in, trying to just farm most likely. Tallboy engages, getting up close and personal right next to that red barrel, not really scared to do it. And what we're seeing actually from Mom is marked for death being placed on the Stinger, so they have line of sight and know where the Stinger is when they're peeking.
That's very smart. As a reminder, we have To The Death, the player that SD said he was scared of, currently playing Mom with a Belgian Barrett power swap build. That is terrifying.
Ooh, lots of damage coming out right now. Might be forced to use some resources here as they sit into the goo, and they do get the knock on the Mom. I don't know if they're going to be able to have the fight.
Gonna need to get some meds out before the next tall boys come in. Make sure they get the full stabilize. Someone's got to look at those stingers. Death, that's going to be you. Good shot.
Showing how powerful that Barrett can be, knocking some heads back and forth, and that's going to be the Mom res coming up. Some nades popping, also the propane tank. The Ret's trying to get some long-range damage, and the Barrett once again popping the long range, showing that mark for death is really potent here. Something we haven't really seen in quite a while.
Over there.
Well, I'm sure a lot of teams have been running Marked for Death, but it hasn't been the difference maker that it's being right here. They're playing the barrel here, forcing this tall boy to maneuver around. It makes it harder for him to land up his shots. I think they're going to make it through. They still got tons of health left.
They have the red barrel getting popped on accident, it looks like. I'm not sure, because I think that tall boy would have gotten shredded either way. I'm not sure if they were intending to use it that early, They could have
Well,
probably played it a bit longer.
You know, the reason they did that is because the ring is at their back. I think they're concerned that the ring is going to take the red barrel before they have a chance to play it, and you'd rather use the red barrel while you still have it, even if it's only to do like 20 damage to a tall boy that was already going to die.
Ooh, the tall boy on the side of the Ridden here, hitting a really nice B-hop, showing the mobility, trying to get some knocks into the zone, but timer-wise, they're going to play their lives, and they should have it.
Absolutely. Well done. I am thoroughly impressed. Did you see some of the shots that DBD was hitting?
That was disgusting. We were showing that Kryptonite, like I said, punishing the long-range carries, and it is showing.
I mean, I think
those
SD,
shots.
I think SD spent half that round dead. I don't think he's anywhere near his full build for round 2.
Mm-hmm. Very, very strong performance. I love it. However,
hey.
also, very open map. Snipers are very strong on that map, too. So,
yeah,
we might see some difference here.
Hey, when there's money on the line, you come out to play, all right? When you wake up this morning and you know you have a chance to win $40 tonight, 160 for your whole team, you don't hit snooze on your alarm clock, all right? You get up, you get yourself a cup of coffee, and you get yourself pumped for the night of games that you're in for. And that's clearly what these guys on Unit 5 did. They showed up ready to go, ready to sweat, ready to give it their all. I will remind everyone again, this is not a team that existed before the tournament. These guys put themselves together just to rock up and show everyone who they were.
And that's what they're doing today. Once again, we're seeing Carly with this shotgun Belgian power swap build. Again, up close and personal, swapping back and forth, building up those damage stacks. But something we did notice is that they were running out of ammo. And they were having to play the armory that they set up, dropping all their ammo at the start of the game. And it's something they're not doing right now. They haven't put their ammo together. So it might be something that actually hurts them this game.
It's just about the only time you actually have to be concerned about ammo is when you're running a power swap build that uses 2 shotguns, like a Belgian and an AA-12. Most of the time, it's really not a concern. But let's say it is. Let's say they realize, oh, wait, we're actually at risk of losing because we keep running out of ammo because we're running 2 Belgian AA-12s. Maybe we end up seeing that round 5 Hoffman you were talking about.
I love knowing the future.
We're going to see DBD running a Phoenix this time instead of a Barrett. That is terrifying because we know he can hit the headshots on those stingers. He can hit the weak spot. Does not need the extra damage from the Barrett to make his shots work.
Tall boy pushing it very hard. That power swap shredding, doing almost a 5th or 4th of the tall boy's health on a body shot. Absolute disgusting the amount of damage this mom is able to output tonight.
Oh,
hitting
he hit
the
that
mid-air
one too.
shot too.
Didn't really have an angle to go for the weak spot damage. That mark for death very nearly made the difference, though, able to shoot through the trees. They still have a barrel to play here. You may notice that because Taki is running a survivalist Evangelo build that is meant to get extra time at the end of the game, they do not have any consistent horde clear. I didn't notice exactly what just happened, but somehow the barrel got used there. I'm not sure that was intentional.
I think it might have been a stray shell from all these power swap build-ups. And the tall boy's re-engaging here, trying to get some damage out. But the moves, schmoving back and forth. But maybe I spoke too soon. Tall boy being able to take out Doc. Mom trying to push to the body, get that quick respawn. But the Doc coming back out on Carly now. Doc coming back up, and I believe that was the mom res. And the Stinger, SD, trying to get up close and personal with the mom. But it's not enough. The team's looking at each other, keeping themselves ready for the peel. Tall boy getting shredded, and they can get res here. And I was actually mistaken. They did not use the mom res. I think that was just their teammates' res speed. They are looking very good right now.
Well, you know what? This is still about to get way scarier because it's one thing to pick off stingers that are farming in the distance. It's another to be able to consistently hit the shot when they are up on top of you, jumping around like flies, kind of like he's doing, but a little bit closer.
Ooh, mom gets pushed by the tall boy. The flashbang being a little bit too late, and the Stinger getting up close and personal. The shot getting hit onto SD, setting them back to the cooldown room. And, oh, what happened there? The tall boy getting knocked in and out of the room. Rez coming back through, 100% trauma on the mom right now. 40 out of 40 health. That's about as low as you can get.
Again, you're seeing the effect of no horde clear and no melee inside this tight room with an upgraded stinger and a whole lot of zombies. There's only one way this can go.
Doc is completely knocked out. The inspiring sacrifice from Carly being the one thing keeping them alive right now. Trauma not being able to get any lower, but the SD Stinger is coming in up close and personal. And it is not enough. Hitting the shot with the shotgun. Mom gets knocked down as well. And we're going to be looking at Evangelo using a survivalist build, getting a couple more seconds.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the Evangelist build made a significant difference there. Maybe 8, 10, 12 seconds, but I'm not sure that's more than you could have gotten without one. I'm really starting to wonder if they're missing that Vanguard Numb combo that I think most teams should be running. It had so much survivability. For anyone who doesn't know, and I've said that a lot tonight, but I am educating here. When you have a melee player, usually what you'll have them do is they run Vanguard. Vanguard is every time you get a melee kill on a zombie, every teammate in line of sight is going to get one temporary hit point that is going to slowly disappear over time. But you can also have everyone on your team then run numb, so that as long as they have any temporary hit points, they have 15% damage resistance. Basically, the end result is if you're running a melee and your flex pick and you're running the Vanguard numb combo, the whole team gets 15% damage resistance. And they're not doing that. That's why you're seeing so much trauma. That's why they're taking so much damage. Even with all the damage they're doing, Unit 5 is still getting slapped silly every time something gets on top of them. And that is especially the case for the Stingers.
You know, like we were saying, that numb combo, you don't need to have your whole health as a temporary HP. Having just one is enough to trigger that 15%. So it is very potent. It helps with survivability. And not only that, you're going to have that horde clear. It's going to let DBD hit those shots more because he doesn't have to worry about the commons coming up to give him a hug, right? It's going to be a lot easier. And is that Evangelo pick really going to give you that advantage that you need or outweigh the Holly?
I would say if you're getting more than 20 seconds at the end of the game off of your Evangelo, then yes. But that isn't what we saw. He got maybe 10. So it's definitely going to need to be more than that if Taki wants to continue to get value off the Evangelo.
B hopping up the high ground, they are able to get the, actually they do get the hit. It's slightly delayed, but the flashbang coming in, but the Wretch Goo might be able to get the tick. The temporary HP getting canceled out by the Wretch's anti-heal, but it isn't enough to get the actual knock.
Well, I'll tell you what you're seeing. You're seeing the Cleaner Crow on the other side is running the Vanguard Numb combo. You can see all of their health, a little bit of blue at the very end. That's why the Wretch damage did not finish that player off. Makes the difference, I'm telling you.
And we're seeing an Exploder coming through, actually. Getting a huge amount of push. Paul Boy is re-engaging here, missing their first shot as they have a melee built for a big ribbon damage, which is an interesting strategy. We don't see it a lot of the time.
Finally, at the very end there, we're going to see SD push DBD, get a little bit of payback for all that bullying he had to deal with for the last 5 or so minutes. Going to kill him. If SD doesn't get the free farm, neither does DBD.
Paul Boy re-engaging, missing their first hit. You can't really hit those when money's on the line. Red Barrel taking them out.
Lots of damage still. It's going to come down a little bit now to the economy on the Cleaner side. They're out-angling Death here. Another good shot might be able to finish him off. I think that's SD pushing him yet again, but they might catch him out.
Ooh, the Wretch, or, yeah, Wretch taking him out. Actually, that was a Reeker swap, actually, from Keithius, not the Exploder that we've been seeing normally. Wretch getting a lot of coverage on the map here as they go in for the melee area.
This is actually looking to be a pretty clean, full stabilization on the part of the Cleaners. I don't think they used Mom Res. That was, again, just a Carly buffed Res, which there's no limit on how many times they can do that. They just have increased Res speed if they have the Carly go ahead and Res. This is going to be a full stabilize. One more fight for Unit 5 to close out this round.
Ooh. And we're seeing an engage. That's a knock. That's pushing them way out of the area they want to be. It's going to be a very difficult res Tall Boy re-engaging, but it's too late. The Wretch Crew getting a re-knock. Are they going to be able to push them or to knock them out? One hit, and that's enough. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 2-second difference gives them the edge.
2-second difference. That was not at all comfortable for Unit 5, but they did manage to close the round out. So Game 1 going to Unit 5 in the grand finals here. Still plenty of opportunities for Cleaner Crew to make some adjustments, come back around, and see what they can do about it. I think, personally, what they should be looking to do is swap one of their stingers to a Hawker. They get one stinger on a Hawker and have them jump death every fight. You hawk him, he's out for 4 to 8 seconds, and that's 4 to 8 seconds that SD can go and do whatever the hell he wants. I think that's the swap.
We have not seen any Hawker all tournament.
None tonight. And not even in any of the off-stream games, as far as I know.
If I was in the shoes of Cleaner Crew right now, I would be looking to do something different. As much as I want to do 4 exploders, each their own, not my choice, but a Hawker would be different. It is not something they've been prepping for. They've been expecting SD to rock out on this stinger, to come guns blazing, right? If they changed it, went to the Hawker, even if they started stinger to set the expectation, swapped Hawker, and then full engaged with Hawker, that could be a power play,
right?
For this.
A lot of what it's going to come down to here is whether or not SD's team can actually get, or not SD's team, Cleaner Crew can get the stinger build up in round 1. If they can keep their stingers alive to get to Kill Frenzy in particular. Kill Frenzy makes it so that when you get it down, there is no cooldown for how often you can attack on Stinger. You can just keep shooting. And that combined with lifesteal, ramping damage, and ramping health makes it very difficult to deal with the Stinger when they're up close and in your face. If they can get to that in round 1, that should basically be their win condition. But in order to do that, I don't see what other options they have other than to find some way to squeeze some crowd control into their team composition, find some way to get Death off of free firing, because we've been watching a lot of Death, and he is certainly free firing.
And that's without the Holly. That's with an Evangelo. Like, he's hitting the shots with any setup that he's been given. Right, he's hitting the Wretch. He's keeping them at bay, and I have to commend him, because those shots are not easy, especially when that Stinger is coming at you up close and personal. You might think it's easy, just hit the shot, but you have to hit a shot because of the defensive stats that they get, the lifesteal. So you have to hit a second shot quickly, or they're going to heal up, and you'll have to hit a third and a fourth and a fifth. And at that point, your health bar is dropping before theirs is going up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just hitting the one shot. When the build is fully up, you have to hit 2 shots, and they have to be back to back. The only other option is to get your whole team shooting at the Stinger with you, and that's a problem when there's 2 Stingers. But moving into round 2, like I mentioned before, I think Cleaner Crew is going to make a couple of adjustments. They'll be ready to go. And hopefully, we'll have a real match on our hands. I'd love to see this go to a Game 4 or a Game 5. Both of the other games that we have streamed tonight have been 2-0s. Hopefully, that won't be the case here in the Grand Finals. But if it is, the win would be well-deserved.
Very strong performance, We came into this, we had some of our own thoughts on some of the teams, some of our predictions that were obviously proved wrong. And Unit 5 is showing that they have a score to settle with the rest of the people in this tournament tonight.
Apparently.
And they are doing it very well.
Well, maybe Cleaner Crew can be the first to take a round off of Unit 5 tonight in the grand finals for the money. For the money. Probably not going to see any comp changes on the side of Unit 5. They're not feeling very much pressure at the moment. They are up 1. They only need to win 2 more games of Swarm to walk away with the full cash prize. Again, that is $40 per person. Both teams in the lobby walking away with something. The losing team will still be walking away with $10 per person. That brings the total prize pool to $200. If that sounds like a chunk of change that you would be interested in getting your hands on, or if this looks fun and you'd like to be in the loop for the next time, either to participate or watch, you can go ahead and click our Discord button down at the bottom. Tell your friends, tell anyone else who might be interested. We can get some more people in for the next one. That could include you. Never know. Might walk away with some cash.
Alrighty, looks like we're going to be loading into pipe cleaners tonight. So maybe Cleaner Crew's going to have the home team advantage here.
I see what you did there.
I don't.
Oh, well then never mind.
Good. Alrighty. So a couple people actually starting in the pit, getting their scavenger timer immediately. They decided not to hold spawns here.
I think there might have been a little bit of a miscommunication there that could come back to bite them, because I believe that's going to mean most of that lower half of the map goes unlooted. And that could actually significantly damage their economy. Not holding spawns and remembering to actually coordinate your loot paths, that isn't insignificant. Okay, that matters. That's the kind of thing that you get down fast when you scrim, because you screwed up a couple of times and you realize, wow, we are really just getting our asses handed to us.
What I will say, though, is I think I spotted 5, maybe 6 grenades and a couple flashes.
Oh.
That's going to be a very strong economy for the start here. They just naded SD, by the way. Taking out the Stinger early before he's able to really get any resources farmed up. If their goal is to disable SD before his build is actually able to come up, that could be a very strong strategy.
He did buy them 20 seconds, but to be honest with you, in round 1, I would still rather save the nades for the tall boys. SD's not that scary yet, and if you just keep Death untouched, he can keep track of him, but that's not what's happening either.
You're not dying. Appreciate it.
That is very scary. Coming back up from the res, showing that combat medic and the pills, bringing them up, taking them at the 76 to 80 health mark. It's going to be very scary if I'm mom here. I know any tall boy like that right there. Stinger's getting the confirmed knock here, showing how fragile you can be. These Stingers on different angles. Tall boy re-engaging, shooting the propane, but it's not enough. Forcing another nade from the side of the cleaners. You might have spawned with a lot of resources, but you can't lose them like that. Tall boy dropping down into the valley. Ooh.
I love how Death is getting completely swarmed by Common, and he says, you know what, zombies, give me just a moment. And he like holds out one hand on their head. He's like, give me a sec. And he quickly caps both Stingers back to back.
Oh.
He goes back to what he was doing. We're in here with Carly now, trying to reset their meds, keeping track of the Stinger, doing what they can to help. Gotta be on the lookout for this next tall boy.
Tall boy coming in from the top, not getting a lot of hits here, I don't think. And his life is taken really quickly, but there should be a second tall boy re-engaging very soon.
Man, I mean, we talked about it earlier. This is a very ridden-sided map. If they get something over 3 minutes, that's going to be really hard for Cleaner Crew to come back from.
Oh, they do have a double barrel. You can see those pings coming in from the side of Mom here. They're going to want to try playing this.
I'm amazed at just how healthy everybody still is.
Yeah, at this point, without that wretch pushing those Stingers, trying to get up close and personal. Mom dropping down to 16 health as the tall boy re-engages, getting the knock here. We're going to see that tall boy potentially get... Did he get stun gunned?
I think he might have.
the
first time, like, ever.
Trying to get that damage in, and the Stinger is able to get the full knock, requiring a defibrillator as they're put back on the floor. Doc getting knocked as well. You're going to see Carly and Evangelo trying to play their lives as Carly gets pushed by these tall boys, living off the inspiring sacrifice and their shotgun health.
All right, but please notice that DBD is dead. That is the primary damage dealer here for Unit 5. Odds are their days of winning fights are over. We are left now with Taki's survivalist build. If he can get to the 330 mark, we'll know he's doing his job well. He's got the slow on him, though. I don't think they're going to let that happen.
He did buy an additional 25 seconds. I believe it was at 2 minutes and 45 was when the fight should be secured. So running around on those little legs is, he did get some good time off it, pushing them over the 3-minute mark.
3 minutes is... Well, that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary on pipe cleaners in particular. This is a really ridden-sided map. Above 3 minutes is fairly rare. Cleaner crews got their work cut out for this one. 3 minutes is already a pretty good time, just in general, especially on cleaner crew. They're pushing it. They're pushing it. If I were them, I might even, no joke, be considering a swap to Walker for the extra nade. That might be the most reliable way to adjust your economy to make this round in particular winnable. But if they do that, then they might be looking a little bit rough for the next round.
Something interesting that I've actually just picked up on is that it seems like we're seeing tall boys with a dip of stingers, and then tall boys with a dip of wretches and reekers. So we got reekers mains versus stinger mains tonight.
We do. We tonight has very clearly shown what ridden people like to play in these organized swarm events. I still think Hawkers are sorely missing from the equation. I'm surprised actually that we haven't seen at least a couple of bruisers. I think perhaps Back2Fort ran one at in one of their games to try to bait out an extra nade in the first fight, but most teams have not gone for turtle strategies, which is where you would usually see bruisers come out in order to cancel it with the right click frenzy ability that does a bunch of AoE damage. We're going to see them. We're going to see Unit 5 setting up now for the round one first fight.
Initiating before your tall boys even spawn, they get that wretched goo, getting that slow, getting that damage. And they're going to alternate the tall boys getting one knocked off the high ground, but then they don't engage properly. They get themselves picked at the exact same time from the utility that the cleaners invest here.
That wretch coverage is really doing a lot to force extra medication out on the cleaners side. They really need to have someone dedicated to standing out on the awning to make sure DBD does not get to do what he's about to do for free. Check this POV out. Going to be some great coverage here with the wretch goo. That can't be
double
free.
nade. That cannot happen. Oh, that is very bad for the side of Unit 5 here. Having a double nade this early into the game is very, very bad. And their wretch getting popped as well. Seems like the side of Unit 5 is able to rush their anti-healing. And now they're starting to invest their points into tall boys here.
All right, something to watch here. The barrel is still up on the pillar opposite of where Cleaner Crew is currently holding. Absolutely an opportunity there to pull it back if they pull it to within a minute of 3 minutes.
And the knock coming off, putting them into the valley right next to the exploder. And that's going to be a huge knock. Getting them into the pit, that's going to be their mom down. Getting a res, they're able to stabilize.
Lucky for them, they got the full team wipe on the ridden side, so they're going to get their full stabilization. Now nearing only a 1 minute difference between the two times. We can't tell exactly how much util Cleaner Crew has, but again, I will point you towards the red barrel still alive.
Huge knock down off the high ground. The wretch covered, making it difficult for them to even stabilize. I believe that is a incapacitation on the mom as they try to fight it out, getting knocks and cancels off the tall boys, but they are able to stabilize again. 4 people up on the high ground.
Now with less than a minute, and the red barrel is still alive, I would be looking soon to rotate over to the other side of the valley, kill DBD, catch him out while he's still over here, and then play the barrel.
Tall boy engaged already. First tall boy getting knocked out. Then we're going to see our second re-engaging here, trying to knock him back into the goo, it looks like, or off the high ground. And they do get 2 knocked off the high ground. Carly getting knocked off onto the high ground, separated from their team. Anyone that could try to res them, it's going to be 1 left with 20 seconds left. It's going to be very close as the tall boy engages, and they get the win.
Man, I really think that at some point in that last minute, they should have made the call to drop off the high ground, go play the barrel. That one little difference. I mean, look, they only lost by 1 fight's worth of time. This is still close. All of these games are close. It's not like we're dealing with 4 minutes to 45 seconds here, right? And the economy for both teams should also be really close. I think both teams on the cleaner side used all of their utility over the course of round one in order to get those exorbitantly high times for pipe cleaners, which usually goes sub 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And now we're pulling back in. We're going to be on trailer trash, and we know how fast these maps can go. What was it, 58 seconds in one of our earlier games today we had on stream? If you play this map wrong, it can go bad very quickly. But at the same time, it's a sink or swim, because we know these can go up and past 3 minutes into the 4-minute mark if the team is playing correctly on cleaners.
Yes, it can. This, however, is an incredibly stinger-sided map. Cleaner Crew has a distinct advantage here in particular because they run double stinger, and whichever house the cleaners decide to hold up on, that's going to be Unit 5, they can have 2 stingers set up on opposite trailers anywhere to give a 90-degree, even 180-degree crossfire. As long as they have something on DBD to keep him from free firing. We've talked about it a lot already, but it's really important. This is doable. This is doable, especially for round 2 when we know that they already might have their stinger build up.
Very exciting.
Attention. We need you to dig in and beat back the Ridden. Fortify yourselves. Stay alive.
We're going to have to watch and see
We've had reports of
what
dangerous
Cleaner
forces
Crew
in
is
the
capable.
Could be
I would go
something
so far as to say this is the make it or break it round. If they give this momentum to Unit 5, pulling it back in Game 3 is going to be difficult. Not just because they're down 2, but because mentally they're going to be down 2. And after having swept every other team they faced so far, this has got to hurt. This has got to be poking their pride a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Make it or break it moment, like you said. It's going to be very interesting to see if they're able to push it back. I'm hoping that we see DBD get some very strong angles here.
Like maybe DBD is going to
flashbang on the point blank Hawker, but showing how potent those defense stats are. They're not able to actually take the Hawker down with a point blank Barrett into the power swap Belgian.
Immediately redowning the dock after using the Momras is not good. That's their sustain for between the fights. If they can't get him back up, and they can't because of those stinger angles, this will be rough. Gonna use a nade to clear the space for the reset. Let DBD hit those shots. Come on.
Ooh, showing how difficult it can be for these Hawkers or Stingers. Playing against them, they're just leaving this angles just as danger zones for anyone to try pushing through. Tallboy's trying to re-engage through the building, getting shredded almost instantly. But we're not looking at that. We want to look at these Stingers as they take the aggressive angle, jumping in, trying to get damage through the window. And Carly comes in for the res, and they get it. Doc pulling back into the room. They're able to break line of sight.
That is good for them. We'll have to see where the Tallboys are planning to enter. This is the kind of inside turtling that you'd expect to see bruisers come out for. Is that going to be the case?
Stinger re-engaging, getting up close and personal as there's a re-knock down onto the Carly. Mom getting separated by the Tallboy as well, trying to get as much damage as possible. Doc is full dead. Evangela is the only one left, getting a res onto the Carly, who their Evangelo has combat medic.
Wow. I wonder if all 4 of them are running combat medic in their decks right now. So for exactly this reason, if their dock goes down, they aren't completely caught out. Now playing up top here is going to be much harder with the Stinger builds. Or DBD getting focused instantly.
Ooh, DBD knocked. Doc is still permanently dead. The Carly getting knocked now. Evangelo is going to be the last one alive. This is where we might see the make or break on the Evangelo strat, trying to build some time. This is a very good map for it. There it is. That's an additional 20 seconds without the Evangelo.
All right,
10,
Cleaner Crew, I need you to hear me, okay? Please don't get greedy from the top of the trailer and drop down into a bunch of anti-heal wretch goo. Please don't do that. If that happens twice tonight, I'm going to rip my hair out. Make this a game for us, please.
Whew. Alrighty. At the same time, I do have a little bit of passion. I want to see Unit 5 get this, bring it 1-1, even it out. Take those, everyone's got nerves. The money's on the line. Everyone's going to be coming home with at least $10 each player. And then the winners will be taking home $40 in their pocket. So $160 total for the winning team. There's got to be nerves. There's got to be a little bit of anxiety. But if you can even it out now, equalize those nerves, we might be able to see some good play out of Unit 5 here. I'm very excited.
Now, I don't think we'll see Unit 5 take advantage of the strength of Stingers on this map because they already have such a sunk cost into their Wretch. But I'm also not sure that's going to be as much of an issue as I was originally concerned about because I know Cleaner Crew, well, let's be honest, they have a bit of a weakness that they don't have any single star sniper player like they do on Unit 5. They don't have someone that if left unchecked is going to absolutely carry the game for them. So maybe it's not that bad that we're still going to be running the Wretch here on the Ridden side from Unit 5. You're going to have the barrel right in the middle of the field. That's a pretty useful spot to play. That is a pretty good spawn for Cleaner Crew. 2 minutes, 21 seconds on the clock. They absolutely can make this happen. Let's watch it.
Tallboy is getting off the high ground initially, actually splitting one off. You see one Tallboy going towards it, and the second actually splitting off line of sight, making it so they can't go and assist their teammate. Tallboy getting split off the natural geometry, actually blocking the hit of one of the Tallboy hits. Nade's not coming out for the side of Cleaner Crew here. Not coming down onto the dock. Nade's breaking one of the Tallboys, both being on cooldown right now. But that is a knock. And a red or exploder coming point blank. The goo might be able to get the knock here.
I think I'm going to pull my hair out. They greeted for the loot, man. They greeted for the loot. They tried to go all the way out to the other side to grab something. I think they are getting a full reset, but I mean, my God, that's so much util out immediately.
Yeah, I'm good. Hold still.
This is not looking good for the side of Cleaner Crew. This is going to be very difficult for them to not get fully stuffed in with some exploders. We know how potent their exploder play can be for the side of Unit 5. Tallboy's re-engaging here.
Bruisers.
The exploder getting ready to come in. Yeah, double bruiser looking for that AoE animation cancel. It's going to be very strong. That Wretch layering the room.
Fantastic play here. Do we get the down from the Wretch explosion? We do, and exploder.
Does come through, and the exploder re-engages, separating them, pushing them back into the room, not letting them get the res. But they don't have Tallboys to re-engage here.
We're going to see the next one coming in soon. Still on the double bruiser because they are still turtling inside the building. If it weren't for the fact that their economy has got to be screwed, I would say Cleaner Crew has got this in the bag. That first fight really ruined it for them now.
They do have the Swarm coming in. If they don't try to leave this room, they're going to be taking the Wretch damage and the Swarm damage as this gets very close inside this next room. Layering the floor, they have another exploder coming in, it looks like.
They're going to have to get moving soon. I don't think they have the ability to go get the full 4-man stabilize. With only 20 seconds left, they may not need to. They are making the call to stay in the trailer, in this teeny tiny corner for the last 20 seconds, not wanting to risk going into transition. That might be the call. That's actually very smart, but very brave.
Exploders coming in, trying to get some damage in. These Tallboys need to wipe in the next 2 seconds, and it is not enough.
And finally on stream, we are going to a round 3, a brave call to stay in that tiny room, knowing full well Unit 5 is running Wretch, Exploder, Double Bruiser. Let's talk about that for a second, Sai.
Mm-hmm. That was a absolutely wonderful play. I like the decision from Cleaner Crew to decide we know what we're doing. We are inside. We need to play our time. Make it as difficult for them to come in as possible. Set that Holly up on the door. They don't have that Evangelo running around. They have a front line, and they are going to make it difficult for them to push in.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. It was the right call. If I was in Cleaner Crew's position, I would have said, yo, let's run. Let's go play the barrel. And to be honest with you, I feel like I probably get us killed there. I feel like if I am in charge there, if I'm IGLing instead of, I think, Inferno, probably we run out, we get slowed by the Wretch goo because the Wretch never died, and we all go down before we even make it to the barrel. So that's some crisp decision-making coming out from Cleaner Crew there. They clearly want this cash prize. This is a map that could go in either direction, both Exploder friendly and Stinger friendly. Both of the strategies we're seeing here tonight do well on this map. This will be the ultimate test of skill for this round 3 in game 2. Will they even it up, or will we go 2 up for Unit 5?
Very interestingly, we have not seen this map tonight. I forget what's the name of this map. This is
Hinterland.
Hinterland. This is one of my favorite maps for Swarm, actually. Having the option to play long range on the side, southwestern side, the main building high ground where you can kind of hold up, get that holly on the door like you were doing before, and then just the open field. It is a variety, and I think it will be very interesting, depending on where the Swarm is going to pull.
We're going to see Cleaner Crew holding up inside this teeny tiny little room. Going to be up to Unit 5 to try to get angles.
That is an incredibly early knock. The Wretch coming in, getting up close and personal. The nade coming in, but that room is covered. Damage ticking as all of them are slowly getting burned to death by that Wretch vomit.
Going to be one nade, I believe, gets 2 kills for the full 4-man stabilize. Someone's already low. Who is that? That's the Holly. The Holly on the other team.
The Holly, if they don't get enough common here, they might be able to get taken out, and they do. The Wretch pushing in, knocking them back, getting them away from the common so they don't get their armor regen. And if you look, that Wretch has 468 mutation points just from that their special attack in there. That is disgusting.
I believe we're going to see the call soon from Cleaner Crew to leave the room. They know that they can't take this anymore. They're using up all their resources. It's not as efficient as they had hoped, so it's time to leave.
Unit 5 Inferno coming up, getting ready to respawn on these tall boys. They see one is weak. They're not going for the weak. They're going for the ones that are trying to support it. Pushing and splitting them off as they take 1v1s. The tall boy is not able to out damage the temporary health you get from the painkillers here.
Indeed, 1v1s are not usually the play for the survivors. The Ridden don't care. Tall boys will win 1v1s all day. That's going to be a second down for Unit 5 here as we near the 2-minute mark. A nade finally going to make some progress to ending this team fight, but there is still a tall boy up threatening those respawns.
Yeah. You can see how they are playing to deny this resurrect. They're not trying to get the kills. They just don't want these players to be back up and in action. Tall boys playing the high ground, camping the bodies as a second knock comes in. An exploder coming out, I believe, trying to get a knock here. That propane taking out the tall boy. We might have another tall boy as an exploder comes in up close and personal, and they might be able to get a knock here.
I think we're going to see not a full reset, but we are going to see a team wipe, so at least one player probably can get back up. No! The melee player stuck in the garage with a tall boy. That's
You
not
don't want to
good.
be up close and personal with the tall boy. Once again, painkillers getting a lot of value. No, that is fire in the hole. Every time you throw one of those utility, it will give you a temporary shield, giving you an extra second or two.
Well, 2:31. 2:31 is still a reasonable time. Could go either direction. Very, very good match that we have right here, folks. Like I said before, the ultimate test of skill. Neither of their strategies is really heavily favored here. That's going to be an Exploder Wretch support duo and a Double Stinger support duo. Now, one of the things about this map is counterintuitively, the sniper player on the Cleaner team doesn't want to be holding in those tiny little rooms. But at the same time, if you don't hold in the tiny little rooms, the thing that you're sniping to counter, the Stingers, will also have an easier time doing their job. So I'm interested to see whether or not Unit 5 elects to try to use the tiny room again, or if they're just going to go play outside on height on the top of the containers, or in the other slightly larger buildings, so that DBD still has some more angles to play. What are your thoughts on that, Si?
I think personally that they might have a better time, playing in the open. They not in the open, but like towards the top of the building where you would start to come up, because I think limiting the amount of sight lines these Stingers are going to have. So coming in, maybe bunkering up a little bit, but they don't have that Holly. They don't have a front line here. They're going to be wanting to make a rotation, but playing up against these Stingers, those are going to get punished. Mom finding 2 nades off the bat, a bunch of defibrillators and utility being found all around the map. It's actually looking pretty good for Unit 5's econ here.
I would agree.
Flashbang.
Keeping track of just about everything, bring it all to the center stockpile on the tires. That is the go-to place to stockpile on this particular map. Pretty much doesn't matter what your first hold spot's going to be, because you know eventually you're going to have to run over that pile of tires.
I believe we're actually seeing 2 people picking up Phoenixes here.
That is an interesting idea. It might make it more difficult to peel for your teammates when there are buffed stingers on them, which you know there will be. But at the same time, you'll be able to more easily control the longer sight lines together and make sure that stingers don't get to farm for free from afar. Wow.
Very quick burn from the power swap here. Tallboy coming in, getting 3 people with one of their hits here. That hurts. They're going to need to use some meds here. And it looks
Significant
like,
amount of damage traded on both sides.
Like Cleaner Crew actually upgraded their common. Look how fast those are. Those have to be sprinters.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they've got any more barbed wire that they haven't used, or if they got a bit unlucky with those spawns. Would be really nice to slow people down as they come in here. Hopefully we don't need a nade for these tall boys. Nope, going to be a double for death.
Second tall boy staggering themselves in. That's going to be a knock on the dock initially. Mom is going to try getting a res, but they're going to get slowed by these common. The Stinger coming in up close and personal as they flash bang the Stinger, knowing if they don't, they're going to knock the Mom. Very good use of resources and deciding when they actually need it.
Still lots of util on the side of Unit 5. A minute 30 on the clock left for them to survive. A nice kill there. Meds-wise, looking fine. Ooh, but they are going to have a down.
I feel counterintuitively, if Cleaner Crew wants to get some time here, they're used to staggering to counter this utility, but with 2 Phoenixes, it might be best to push in at the same time.
I want to point out just how willing Unit 5 is to use their util on the Stingers, but the end result of that is that they have none left for the tall boys. Here he comes, looking for more downs. The next tall boy shouldn't be far behind. Ring is also at their back. They're going to have to leave soon.
We might see Mom get up close and personal, still holding these stun guns here. But Carly not having any ammunition left, showing how much you're going to burn it with the power swap double shotgun. 2 knocks coming in, Doc permanently dead. Not having any defibs, I think they were carrying them. They're going to need to hold out for an additional
2v4. Looks like perhaps this is not going to go.
And that is
in Unit 5's direction. No. What we saw there, it happened very fast. Let me recap that last fight for you. As they left the building, because the ring is at their back, they greeted. They stayed behind to try to stagger kill that last tall boy who was following them through the back of the building. Because they stayed to kill that tall boy, the ring did a lot of damage. The tall boy did a lot of damage. Then while they were in transition to leave, poor Keithus does playing Doc. He gets taken out. You can't get him back up because now both the Stingers are back up. And while you're in transition, that's when the Stingers are going to farm you. Instead of leaving him, they tried to get Keith back up and they got a bunch of downs.
Very good observation. Something else, the Carly player, they ran out of ammo on their double shotgun build. And that was when the tall boys were able to take out the Doc. They weren't able to dish out the damage as much as they were receiving it. And it shows. So very, very interesting performance from both teams there. And it shows how quick the tables can turn, especially in a game like Swarm.
Can they hear us?
Ready. So we're going to be getting ready for the next game. One of our teams is calling for a quick bio break. So as things heat up, make sure you get yourself something to drink. Maybe do a little bit of bio break, get yourself rested, because things are going to be getting intense in these next games. Money's on the line. So is your specs. So is a little bit of your ego. So we'll see you soon. Be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. People got their bio, people got their lunch, or maybe a little bit of dinner.
We're at halftime.
But we are at halftime now, like you said. So we're all coming back. We're going to be jumping right back into the game. And speaking of jumping into stuff, should be jumping down into the description here, and we have our Twitter link. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in the Riptide community, next tournaments, next pugs, everything will be posted on the Twitter. So if you're interested in anything Riptide, we'll keep you up to date. So go check it out.
Yes, please do. Also down there, we have a nice little tips button. It's entirely optional. You don't have to send us anything, but I mentioned it earlier. We're doing all this for free out of our love for you guys, our love for the game, our love for esports, but we don't get paid for it. And it gets easier for us to spend more of our time doing this kind of thing for you guys if we get a little bit of money in our pockets at the end of the day, because that way we can go pay our bills afterwards and maybe have to work fewer hours doing other things. It's entirely optional. Hopefully we see you around in the Discord and in our Twitter. But our halftime is over. Let's get back into the game and start talking about that. We are 1-1 right now in the grand finals between Unit 5 and Cleaner Crew. Unit 5, a subtle upset in round 2 versus Back2Fort, who I thought was going to bring us all the way, or was going to get all the way to the grand finals. Unit 5 takes them down, takes their place. Cleaner Crew, another one of my personal favorites to make it all the way to the grand finals. They are here, and they are meeting their match, having lost the first round to them, and then just barely taking the second one. Now we are back on Hinterland, going to have the game 3 to reassert who has the upper hand in this series. What do you think's going to happen from here on out, Si?
Well, we have equalized, right? We had that little bit of an upset, so we are back at 1-1. So inside the bathroom of this garage here that we're seeing on our tall boys screen, the bathroom door is actually closed. So that means we're not going to have the ability to do some of those strategies where you ring up, set yourself inside. It's going to be a lot more difficult to pull something like that off.
Nice wretch angle down here from To The Death. Both tall boys in at once might get double naded. Doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Tall boys hard engaging, coming up through the window, something, staggering yourself, but putting yourself in an unexpected area.
Okay, thanks.
Very smart play for them today.
Ooh, they saw you there, buddy. Death. Not going to be able to chill and keep doing what you were doing. They're going to push your ass if they see you doing something like that. Like we are getting up ready for our next team fight. See how they play it here. We haven't made any comp swaps on the side of Unit 5. Just going to keep bashing our head against this.
Ooh, that Holly is shredding with that axe. 150 damage per hit, but it's not enough. Doc does get knocked here. They should be able to stabilize here without an issue. Holly trying to get up on the windowsill to get that melee damage through it. Very smart play from them.
I think perhaps Death might get pushed again. He's going to have to leave all the way this time, learning from his previous mistake. Yeah, Mom doesn't want to drop there to finish that.
I never thought I'd be doing this when I was at
This
Trading
is a
blow with the tall boy. Holly is doing too much damage, hitting him through the door. Ooh.
This is a strong turtle hold on the side of the crew.
Big.
Maybe I'm speaking too soon because they just got it down and some
that should
great
be another
wretch taking.
knock from the wretch? Oh no, they just got in the range quick enough.
I think the Holly is pushing DBD all the way up the side. Again, SD mad for the snipes earlier. Not going to let that go unpunished.
And that is a full kill on the dock now. Nades coming out, blowing up the doorway, knocking 2 of them there.
Round 1, defibs are not guaranteed. It looks like they're getting a good ring pull here to continue to turtle for some time if they choose to do so, but without any dock, perhaps they've decided that's not worth it. They have lost the opportunity to play the red barrel. That is now outside of the ring. Would require a pretty severe mistake on the part of Unit 5 to allow them to get any kills with it.
And Tallboy coming out in the main here. One of them incredibly low. Mom getting knocked. And that is the second knock. This is going to be 1 remaining on the inside here. That's the Holly. We know how much damage she can take and how much she can dish it. So let's see how long they're able to stabilize here.
No nades. I don't think very long at all. The Exploder's going to deliver the or actually the Wretchgoo is going to deliver the final blow, locking in a time of 2:26. Again, very, very middle of the road, but it keeps eking lower. I don't know if you noticed that. All these times, I feel like both teams are learning and growing with their Ridden play, improving, learning how to play around the other team.
In that case, I'm expecting and hoping for some swap up. You know, you got all this knowledge. You can play it on Ridden side, but on Cleaner or even the Ridden side, taking it a whole different direction. That could be very potent, especially for these teams that we've been seeing today. You know, swap things up. You got the Exploders, you got the Wretch. Why not swap it up and try going, you know, Hawker, Stinger.
Hawker.
Take him by surprise. Hawker.
Hawker. I'm just going to keep saying Hawker.
Quad
Come on,
Exploder,
guys.
you know, take 4 of them, go in separate, hot swap those babies, get yourself a dub.
I'm just saying, both of these teams are running star player strats, whether they know it or not. And Hawker is the counter to that. I've been saying it all night long, but it doesn't look like either team is looking to make those adjustments the way I'm talking about. We're just going to keep bashing our unique strats into each other, which is fair. Both teams want to stick to what they know they're good at. I understand.
And also, you know, there is money on the line. I don't know if I would be one to swap things up right now when you know what you do well, and changing it up might leave you in a bad place.
We see these loop paths, see if they result in anything. We already have 2 Belgians in play for both of our power swap players on the side of Unit 5. Great barrel placement right under the building in a bush, I think. No, that's actually not the red barrel. I'm mistaken. Apologies. Lots of nades up here, though. I mean, a lot of nades. Odds are what they should do is mirror the strat that Cleaner Crew did before them. Stay in the building here. See how long the ring will let them do that. That way they can keep playing that pile of nades and they don't even need to move it.
Lots of pills, too. A lot of resources and upkeep potential with the resources they got here today.
Indeed, we're going to put the propane up here as well. Going to need to play that pretty early, though. Otherwise, a nade might take it. Don't get greedy with that propane.
Blocking initially. Tallboy's coming into the main room, getting power swapped and focused. The Stinger's trying to get an angle, getting that value through their poke and their prod.
Oh!
And that is an amazing shot from DBD, getting those shots, taking out the Stinger as early as they can.
Thanks, son.
And then our other friend over here, Inferno, pushing up with their AA-12, trying to stop them from getting the peak, making it more difficult for the Stingers to get angles.
How did he get in here? Bruiser already on top of DBD. Felt it instantly, though. Wow, DBD looking very comfortable in this back corner. His teammates holding all the other spawns for him. He just gets to watch either window and look for anything like that. Any Stinger that wants to step into his line of sight, beware. It's not going to be free. You may be in for a headache.
Very interestingly, something I realized, Carly is not running Buckshot Bruiser with their build tonight.
That is interesting, considering she's running a double shotgun build. Perhaps she didn't intend to be running double shotgun, and instead was hoping to run a rifle, then realized she didn't need to.
There. Just one.
Interesting. And that is a very early knock. But the use speed off the Carly is actually going to let them get the res here without needing to use their mom res or any real utility. And getting the nade through the wall. And that's just how it is sometimes. You can't really do much about it. It's kind of built into the game. So
fantastic play off the propane here. This has been very clean so far in the first round of Game 3 for Unit 5. I'm thoroughly impressed at how well they've managed their economy. They still have a huge amount of nades and meds. They've taken almost no damage. I don't even think the Ridden have gotten a lot of farm.
I agree. Stingers have been getting shut down very early. Nothing like the farm they were getting on the Ridden or on the Wretches. It's very strong, and you can see that SD just does not have enough of his build. He's trying to come in up close and personal, and he just gets naded, shut down, sent back to the spawn room. And this is going to be a pretty safe and secure win for Unit 5 this round.
I don't see how Cleaner Crew can hope to actually win the whole series without doing something more about Death. It's so clear from the outside that Death is free-firing all game and isn't missing any of the important shots. The only ones he misses are the ones that don't matter. every time a Stinger shows up in his line of sight, they're either dead or they weren't going to do anything to begin with.
Something very important too. I don't know if you caught it, Nurk. In the chat, we actually saw Taki communicating to their team that they brought 2 nades and a med kit into this next map here.
Their
that
economy,
is an incredible performance.
Their economy was managed so well between the propane and playing off of DBD and preventing farm. I'd go so far as to say I think this whole round is in the bag for Unit 5 already. I think Game 2 is going to go to them. Their economy is already so strong off of that first round performance. On to Game 3, excuse me.
Very, very exciting. We can actually see Carly is rocking the smelling salts off the start to get that bonus between their passive of the 10% quick or use speed.
We've seen that come into play a couple of times now, especially back when it was Unit 5 versus Back2Fort. We kept mentioning how the Carly reses are free. They are almost as fast as the Mom reses, but they require you to spend a lot of your build on them. And that's, of course, cards that could be spent on damage or survival or economy that are instead getting spent on the ability to stabilize a little bit faster. And, you know, maybe that's fair. Maybe that's the play. But they are not getting it for free. They have to give stuff up for that.
Another interesting choice I also was able to spot here was that their mom, you know, you're going to want to prioritize and kill the mom as early as possible. Well, she's going to get knocked, and that's why the mom on our team of Unit 5 is actually running second chance.
I know you.
You know, let themselves have a little bit more leeway when they do get knocked and bring back up as soon as they can.
Well aware that everybody on the cleaner crew is going to be looking at and for him. DBD running second chance to make sure that that isn't going to keep him from playing the game. That is quite a few nades again, probably left over from the econ in round 1. Cleaner crew is going to be banging their heads into this for a while, and I don't think they're anywhere near the level of farm they need. Playing inside, the best counter to cleaner crew's strat.
Yeah, but we've also had some really bad luck with people not using their utility on trailer trash. So hopefully tonight we'll be able to change things up and make a difference of that.
Yeah, well, with this much, I think it's hard to justify not being pretty lenient with it. I'm interested to see if they use the flashes or the nades first, because they do have 2 flashes in play, along with, I believe someone just told me in my ear, 7 grenades.
Ooh. I believe that was a headshot from DBD onto the tall boy. It does provide weak spot damage to hit the tall boy in the head, I believe, correct?
Thanks, Sue.
Or at least an additional damage?
Not in the head, no. That's going to be a nice through-the-wall nade from Inferno, taking out both Stingers at once, thanks to that March for Death ability that shows people through walls. Now, with the next tall boy in, going to be simple. No Stingers to support. Have not seen a swap to the Bruisers yet. Cleaner crew really rocking the one strat they know how to run, doing it well, but I'm not sure it's going to make the difference just alone.
Hellfire and Numb being picked up from Carly and Mom here. That is a very strong card advantage to grab this early into a round. It could be a make or break, giving them an additional 20, 30 seconds even possibly.
Second chance especially.
Double nade coming in from Taki, and then the second double nade coming in from Inferno. I don't know if the second one was needed. Ping in the med kit for the doc so that they can get that additional heal off of it.
I never thought I'd be doing this.
This is definitely what I would have expected. I'm glad they listened to us. They clearly could hear us through the screens when we said, please stop greeting on trailer trash. Please use your util. Please do not feed into the Ridden's territory. Keith, a little caught out here, not really feeding. Another nade. Again, gonna take out both Stingers. They have to be running low soon, but they still have 2 flashes. It's gonna be a full reset. Basically, the game has just started now for the cleaner crew at 2:20. This has got to be frustrating for them.
And they still have utility coming this much. How quickly they've been using it, letting the Stinger catch some ankles, and I think they should rotate into another building if they want to continue this strategy. Another nade coming out, taking out the tall boy. The Stinger's trying to get into action here. Doc being taken down, but once again, seeing the potency of that Carly smelling salt, getting Doc up almost instantaneously.
Watch this 1v1, DBD versus the Stinger. Whoever wins this could decide this particular fight. That's an important shot missed. The next one as well. The next Stinger following up.
And Mom and Doc both being taken out. That is the main sustain. The Mom being picked up once again by this Carly smelling salts. It is showing so much value this game.
DBD finally showing a moment of weakness, unable to prevent the double Stinger setup, now leading them into a an unachievable stabilization, forcing Taki to run both tall boys up, leading to an actually fairly modest 324 for that level of economy coming into this round. That's surprisingly low. I expected we were going to get to a 430. For the first time, saw DBD miss a couple of important shots.
Man, when they're up close and personal like that, especially in an area where you're not expecting it, it shows the strength of the strategy.
Yeah.
And it is very strong when you do it correctly.
Fortunately, DBD had the opportunities to kill SD on the Stinger there, but he missed one too many shots. I counted 4 that missed back-to-back. All of those power swap damage boosted would have one-shot the Stinger if landed on the weak spot. Can't miss that many in a row. You just can't.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I don't know, I think it was the Carly with the AA-12 was even having the difficulty taking out that Stinger. The life steal. You know, you might land that one shot, but that one shot isn't enough to take them out. That lifesteal keeps them up. The defense, leap defense, giving them a 15% damage reduction after just using that one ability.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very strong. Part of the main reason that the Stinger is...
Stinger gets leap defense for extra defense, followed by life steal, as well as ramping health. Ramping health increases your max health with each hit shot that hits as Stinger. So what you do is a combination of all those 3, of 15% damage distance, you gain max health and current health every time you hit a shot, and you heal every time you hit a shot. Excuse me, that's actually what I meant by current health. And the end result is that it's very difficult to kill you unless you hit them in the weak spot, hit them multiple times back to back, or have your team there to help you. DBD usually doesn't need that help. Usually he goes for the former. He hits them in the weak spot. That time, didn't go that way.
Very exciting. We're going to see Inferno spawning in immediately. Both tall boys trying to go in for the aggression, but they get double flashed. And it is enough for... Oh my god! Holly being taken out immediately, trying to get up close and personal, use their melee build to the furthest extent, but it is not enough. That is a force of the Mom res, and double nade coming in for the side of Mom here. Canceling that, the Exploder getting up close and personal, but they do get taken out. And that is a full kill this early into the game. Gonna force some defibrillators.
Absolutely devastating. This is called greed. When you're at the end of the scavenging phase, you need to be with your team. There is no, hold on, I'm just grabbing this last thing. If you are not with your team when the scavenging phase ends, you have made a mistake. And this is a team that's going to punish you for that every time.
Alrighty. And personal, the Wretch is going to come in. Molly going to take out the Wretch most likely, but they are able to come in. That regenerating charge, keeping them alive, letting them get up close and personal and killed with the Wretch goo all over them tonight.
Body blocking.
Tall boy re-engaging here. Going to get a knock here most likely unless some util is used. That is going to be Inspiring Sacrifice being procced here, and this should be a knock and a finish.
Taking a while, but yes, it should be. Lots of damage resistance alone somehow buying another 10 or so seconds, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The match is already lost. Now going 2-1 in favor of Unit 5. Just too many mistakes in a row from the Cleaner crew. Too many mistakes on round 1 leading into round 2. You can't let death go that uncontested for that long. And you also, at some point, need to be swapping to bruisers much faster. When you know the other team is turtling, that's what the bruisers are for. They take more damage, they're harder to kill, and they do AoE damage. That's the point. That's when you would take the bruiser. It's the only time you would take the bruiser.
get those exploders, get those bruisers in right there and kind of show them who's boss. They want to take a fight indoors. You're going to take a fight to them. And that's exactly what those two classes are built for.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't say it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. So, the additional mistake that we've seen Cleaner Crew make a couple of times, Unit 5 seems to be one of the few teams that really punishes them for, is during the scavenging phase, Unit 5 is watching very closely for anyone who is slightly out of position. The exact second the scavenging phase ends and it ticks over into wave 1, they spawn. They are 3 or 4 people on someone who is even a little bit out of position. And even if they don't get the down, they force a ton of damage out and almost always force a nade out. It's so unbelievably expensive to be just a little bit greedy. It's so not worth it. If Cleaner Crew can clean that up, what I did there, perhaps immediately that little boost to their econ could make the difference. We already know that actual gameplay-wise, these two teams are very close when they aren't making their mistakes. When it comes down to the plays that are being made rather than the mistakes that are being punished, we know that this is a very close set.
Something also, showing the strength of that Stinger composition, right? You would think, oh, you need to hit that one shot. We talked about it earlier in the stream. DBD actually, with a scoped Barrett at point blank range, he hit him. He hit SD. The issue is that leap defense. SD had just jumped. He has his maximum health because the fight had lasted, and he ate the shot. He was not able to hit the second one, and that's what snowballed. That took a pretty close defense, and that was what took it.
Yeah. Well, there's still opportunities here at round 4 for Cleaner Crew to bring it all the way to a game 5. And then game 5, that'll be end of the road. Someone's walking home with the money after that one. But in the meantime, Cleaner Crew's got to get there first. Unit 5, meanwhile, hoping to close it out right here momentarily. It's interesting because Unit 5 is punishing Cleaner Crew for mistakes that Cleaner Crew doesn't usually get punished for. The over-reliance on the Stinger and that inability or inflexibility to swap to other comps or just to other simple picks like a Hawker or Double Bruiser or an Exploder while they're hunkered down inside. The reliance on that Stinger, the double Stinger in particular, really hurting Cleaner Crew. Really, really, really hurting Cleaner Crew. It's clear that Unit 5 has found the answer to that strategy, and if they continue trying to force it, I don't think it's going to go well. It may end in a 3-1 for Unit 5.
Something that I think a lot of the teams here tonight were kind of coming into the game with was the idea of their composition being the best, right? And what I really think is that the idea around this game and the meta hasn't developed into this rock, paper, scissors yet, right? You have the exploder / wretch composition, but there isn't this rotation where, oh, they're running this, we need to counter it with this. It seems like the idea of we have this composition that we are good at and we know how to play, but they're playing a comp and we don't know what to do to counter it. They haven't developed their win conditions yet, it feels like.
Who, Cleaner Crew?
Both teams seem to be kind of, sometimes it's just performing. It feels almost like a coin flip sometimes, especially coming into here. The play, yes, but they're not making those decisions and developing their win conditions in the games, it feels like.
Well, I disagree with you slightly. I think perhaps that's true for Unit 5. Unit 5 may be relying too heavily, if anything, on punishing Cleaner Crew's mistakes as their only win condition. And then maybe outside of that, they're relying too heavily on DBD to hit all of his shots and do an absurd amount of damage. I think Cleaner Crew in particular, though, does understand their win condition. They understand they need to make space for their Stingers to build up their farm so that they can go in and do that massive amount of damage. But I think they're missing a step. I've said it a million times. I don't know what else to say. I think they need a Hawker. I don't know what else they're supposed to do. They need a Hawker to keep DBD under control while their other Stinger farms. And yes, I know that means you're dropping a Stinger, so you're doing slightly less damage with your strat. But isn't one SD Stinger of damage worth more than none?
Mm-hmm. Think about it like this: how much damage, if you took it as a percent, is DBD doing to you? I'd say 40% of the damage is coming from that guy. And that's being liberal. He is
Yeah.
shutting down a lot of damage. You take what 1/4 of your damage in total. You have hawkers and tall boys. That's a lot of damage. Swap it out for the hawker, and then you're taking out 40% of their damage. Then you're gonna have someone have to either look at him or force all the stun gun resources on him.
Yeah,
That is a good trade, and it is kind of saddening we haven't seen it tonight.
I agree. Not too late. We can still see swaps. We can see a 5th round Hoff. We can see a 4th round quad exploder hot swap.
I'm
All
just
these
saying
things
I'm
you've been
still
talking about all
on
stream.
course for the 5th round quad exploder hot swap strategy to come out on Heralds of the Worm Part 1. So my bet is on Cleaner Crew winning this one tonight, or this next coming map.
I think at this point, I'm fairly convinced Cleaner Crew has proven their unwillingness to adjust their strategy. They've either become so proud of or so entrenched in their double stinger strat working everywhere else that they must be thinking it's just an execution issue. We can do it better. Just hit more shots, time it slightly better. And I simply don't think that's the case. I think something is fundamentally wrong with the strategy, and Unit 5 knows something that they don't. So I am now of the opinion that I think Unit 5 may win this next game and claim the title 3-1 in the grand finals.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we're gonna have to do a pretty. We'll bet.
Well, in the moment,
Without money.
for a moment, I'm sensing some interest from the Twitch chat about the role of loot RNG in these games. How impactful do you think it's being?
It can be very impactful right now, especially what was it? The map? I think it was Trailer Trash, where they came into the map with 2 grenades, and then they got 6 spawns plus flashbangs. It is a very, very impactful part of the game, it feels like, because you're going to be, you can get those nades, you can get flashbangs, and it can just put you up, 2 team fights, at least if you get 2 more nades and you get good nades. Like, you land a double off 1 nade that you got, and then the other team doesn't get an additional nade to even try to do that.
I have a slightly differing opinion from you. I think I agree that the loot RNG can be a difference maker, right? If one team gets an exorbitant number of nades and the other team simply does not, yes, then that can be a huge issue. But my other concern is that a lot of the grenades that Unit 5 had in that last Trailer Trash game were the result of a sweeping victory in round 1, where they brought pretty much half their economy with them, right? And we only saw the 2 nades confirmed that they had, but I think it may have been more. It may have been 3 or even 4. I think at least one of the flashes came from round 1. So
Yeah,
I'm almost concerned that Cleaner Crew might be patting each other on the back and saying, don't worry about it. It's just nade RNG. We're just getting unlucky. We go again. It'll be our favor soon. And I don't think that's really the case, to be honest with you. I think what's happening is they're dropping the ball in their round 1 because they're letting DBD prevent them from free farming. And because they can't free farm, they go 3 whole minutes without being able to end the round. And Unit 5 still has half their nades, and they bring it with them to round 2. And I don't think it's a loot RNG difference. I think it's just an economy management difference.
And so you believe that it's because the strategy for the Stinger doesn't come online till the second map. They're eventually making round 1 a coin flip. Their strategy isn't a thing yet, and the other team isn't making it a coin flip. Their composition is strong first round.
Yes, that's correct.
Alrighty. I think that is a very insightful take, actually. That could be a reasoning for why we're seeing the games go like they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real, all right? The loot RNG can be a problem when you're talking about competitive integrity. But at the same time, in my experience, casting these games, running pickup games, scrimming teams, the better team usually overcomes that subtle amount of randomness, except for a select few times when one team really, truly, by random chance, gets favored. I very rarely actually see multiple games in a row be decided by loot RNG.
Mm-hmm. And I besides, I believe that one map, I think it has been actually pretty even most of the night. I believe we did see like 4 firecrackers in one box towards the start of the stream, but it hasn't been that bad
Showing increased
over the
written
course of the
activity
night.
in your area, and there appears to be something else.
Well,
We need to
we'll be
get
moving
civilians
into
out of
the
area.
next game
We're gonna
right
need you
now.
and your team to hold back the ridden until
Watching
everyone
here
is out.
as we go back to Pipe Cleaners, a ridden-sided map
Report to
with a
dangerous
low
flags right
cleaner
here.
survival
There'll be
time.
something
I wouldn't be
patient.
surprised if
You
we
better keep
again
clear.
see Unit 5 go to somewhere around 2 minutes,
Yeah, but
2:30, and then still have nades with them in
We don't
round 2.
have long.
And then I'm not sure that Cleaner Crew is going to make the same split-second decisions about what to save and what to spend on round 1.
Well, for me personally, I'm closing my eyes, rubbing my temple, and I'm detecting it's going to go to 3 minutes and 8 seconds for the side of Unit 5 here.
Is that because that's what it was last time?
Yep.
A fair prediction.
Ooh, nice
Great
shot.
opening on DBD. Yep.
Over there? Harley, get it together. Well, look before you move.
Already.
Very
Those
difficult to see here.
firecrackers coming in here, actually giving them the heal off it, I believe.
They're
Or
running
just to keep their
fire in
ribbon
the
off.
hole with the firecrackers potentially.
Mm-hmm.
We can see here on the ridden side, if you look carefully, there are stingers in the background on multiple different angles trying to spit into the window anywhere DBD isn't looking. Need to get those tall boys on him in order to keep it that way, though.
The Doc actually getting knocked here, keeping the pressure from the Common, and we actually see a nade being used on the Common to allow the Carly to get in and get that res. DBD taking a nice shot, taking out the Stinger that was trying to keep pressure.
Mm-hmm. As we pass the minute mark here, not a lot of frags remaining, but we still have extra flashes, and the tall boys are grouped, so that will take one of the few remaining frags. Stinger's still alive. DBD is going to see if he can change that, and he can.
Ooh.
Or SD down again. Can he get the double?
That's mine. Could be worse.
Waiting very patiently. Not look like it's going to be free, so he's going to go off, do something else now. Wait for the next fight.
Thanks, Sue. What's that?
Tall boy coming up, re-engaging, and he gets immediately popped. That weak spot damage hitting him in the red little orb, and there goes his health bar. Keep an eye on the Stingers.
Unfortunate ring pull here. Going to force Unit 5 off of their very well-defended location and somewhere down into the middle. The other height is also taken. This could be bad for them. They're probably going to need to look to play this barrel soon.
And that is a knock onto their Doc. Playing on the Swarm side here. Gonna try to go for a res. Stinger's getting damage in. And it is a knock on the Carly. There it is. And then the Doc is full killed. Once again, coming off these fights incredibly early. 2 Stingers creating an X almost. Getting the crossfire over the edges.
I've had worse tick fights.
DBD counterintuitively jumping down into the Valley of Death to try to buy himself a couple extra seconds. Trash still alive. Taki up there, full health with his survivalist build in hand, ready to bring it to the 3-minute mark. We'll have to see how well he does with that. Running into
Actually,
the ring.
Going into the Swarm.
In fact, we are going to see him continue to run, but not for very long. I have to admit, Cleaner Crew, for all the faults I think they're showing in this particular series, done a very good job shutting down Taki at the end of every round, probably on the back of those Stinger upgrades that slow Taki down every time he gets
You
hit.
did a good job out there, but there's still a lot
So
of
2
work to
minutes
do.
and 46 seconds. It's a little bit above average, especially for pipe cleaners. That's not a terrible performance for the cleaners.
No. That's a pretty good performance on pipe cleaners. Usually you're going to end up with much lower times than that because there's just so many places for Ridden to spawn and get on top of you very easily. Not really that many sightlines for you to play to kite them.
Yeah, let's see. So we're going to see some points being used here, and they are hard rushing anti-healing, a strategy they have been running all night on the side of Unit 5, and it has kind of been a staple for a lot of the strategies they've been using, even when they swap to the Bruisers, even when they stop to the Exploders Wretch, which they have been locking in all night. starting on the exploder for the first round, trying to get some instant damage and some util off.
I'll tell you what Cleaner Crew really has to do if they want to win this round and this game. They have to be together when the scavenging phase ends. They can't be going together when the scavenging phase ends. If they aren't in line of sight, within feet of each other, as soon as that ticker is up, I promise you, Unit 5 will get another down in the first fight. Mark my words. If they aren't watching for it, this will spell the end of the tournament for them.
This is going to be the make or break, especially for Cleaner Crew. $40 per person is on the line right here. Let's see if they're able to do it.
Finally, some good spawn control from the Cleaner Crew, using propane to maintain their advantage in the very first fight. Not a lot of farm for Unit 5 here, as they finish off this fight rather convincingly.
Alrighty. Are they going to be able to push? That is a very early down onto the mom. That is not looking good for the side of Cleaner Crew. They are able to get the res picked up. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties as the tall boys engage here. You know, the push in. Getting a knockdown as they do get picked back up, and an exploder comes back in, pushing them off the high ground as they are incredibly low, but they don't have any follow-up. The Rechgu not being able to control that bottom area.
We are looking now for Unit 5 to make their way into the burst bonus upgrade for the tall boys. About 180 mutation points away, a minute and a half left on the clock to get there. Plenty of time. Once they have burst bonus, it can be very difficult to dislodge tall boys looking to make a play.
Oh, dropping down. They're down in Death Valley. That's going to be a full knock onto the dock. No chance for a revive unless they have these defibrillators. And we're going to see the tall boys trying to get onto the high ground, knocking them while they're climbing the staircase. And that is a double knock onto the rest of the team. And it will be a slow but painful death as they try walking away. The Carly should be finished.
Unfortunately, somehow they keep managing to get split. And you know what I think part of the problem is? That Wretch on the side is too free. Someone needs to hard watch death on the Wretch. Every single time he gets one of those totally free vomit spews, just gets the entire upper side, somebody drops or panics or goes down. The coverage is great, sure, and the only way to really stop that is to make sure someone's looking at him. That way he doesn't get through the whole spew, and there's going to be spots left that he can't cover. He needs to die or at least get forced to cancel the Wretch spew. This is it for Cleaner Crew. This next round may well be the last round of the tournament. This could crown Unit 5 the champions right here.
This is
Cleaner
where they
Crew
need
needs
to
pick it
make
up.
their back.
I think we've discussed it at length already. They have the tools to make the changes they need to. But whether they do is up for debate.
And if there was a place for our good old friends Cleaner Crew to make the comeback right here, this map, this is where it's going to be. Because I feel they have played this map versus this team, what, 3 times now?
Yeah.
It's been at least once in every map rotation.
In every series.
So if they have a map, they know the enemy's strategies, this is going to be it.
Got ridden advancing on your area. Looks like you're going to be in for a fight.
Well, it's going to come down to how many nades both teams get. I believe at least this time Unit 5 did not bring an exorbitant number of nades into the next round. I believe they used most of them.
You'd better keep clear.
And in fact, it's possible that Cleaner Crew even has a number of nades remaining after that round because they survived less than 2 minutes. We'll have to wait and see exactly what those numbers end up being, however.
It does look like there's a very low amount of nades on the side of Unit 5 here, actually. Only seeing 1 nade rocked on the Carly, and then Mom taking a pipe bomb. A bunch of Molotovs, though. I'm not sure if anyone's rocking Pyro build tonight, though. Second tall boy engaging. First one being burned pretty quickly, but Doc is being pressured very quickly. It seems to be a common occurrence versus Unit 5, their Doc being targeted very hard.
I am now thoroughly convinced that spending nades liberally at the start of the round is absolutely the play against the Cleaner Crew's strategy. Completely stops their farm. I don't think the Cleaner Crew is anywhere near their full build for SD and their Stingers. Absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And again, still no bruiser swaps, by the way.
You need ammo.
That'll
Take
do.
this. Got bullets.
Interesting play here. Going to throw Molly out there just to stop some Singers from peeking for a little bit. SD, meanwhile, going down as the next tall boy comes in.
And we should see the secondary tall boy coming in from the window, most likely, trying to get some damage in here. Pushing back and getting up close and personal with the Doc, who gets knocked out the window, actually. And DBD landing a nice shot on Gray, actually. That was not SD, running the double Doc, or Stinger.
Unit 5 still looking very healthy. A minute 20 now. Starting to look bad. We may be watching the end. Unless they pull a hat trick, I don't see how Cleaner Crew is going to get any sort of significant play off of this. I mean, they did get it down, but they still have all of their damage up. They did finally swap to a Wretch, and the ring is on their backs. Maybe something could happen here.
They would need to pull out something pretty quickly. They have not used their mom res if they were going to try re-pushing into the swarm to get that knock. Stinger's getting in that building. It might be time to call it for that second knock coming in on the side of Evangelo. Pipe bombs coming in, but the Stinger is up and running, getting up close and personal. DBD trying to land the shot, but you can't miss it right now. Don't get overwhelmed. Take a minute and take the shot. And Evangelo is going to get knocked. The nade coming in, but the tall boy is coming in now. Hardly the last one alive.
Oh no.
The res coming out on the Evangelo, pushing him up to almost full health. The flashbang coming in. Is he going to try going for the res? No, he's going to try getting a couple seconds extra. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Less than average.
Hey, Cleaner Crew, I am proud of you. You swapped to the Wretch at the perfect time, and I'm telling you, it made a difference. The slow from the Wretch, the coverage on the ground, made it very difficult for Unit 5 to actually transition anywhere once the ring was on their backs from their little hut. And when that happened, that leads to a down, and then a second down, and then 3, and next thing you know, you've won the fight at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. They aren't out of this yet. They can still do this. 2 minutes and 22 seconds is a reasonable time to have to make. I think if they play inside and they're very careful and they are on top of killing death on the Wretch, I think they can do this.
I agree. Finally getting some swaps in here. You know, swapping off the Stinger and changing things up. Cleaner Crew took Unit 5 by surprise. They were not ready for the Wretch. They did not plan around it. They didn't move around it. And they got punished, letting the Stingers shoot them while they're in the vomit. It was a very good play. Props to Cleaner Crew for that.
Yeah. They hadn't, I mean, Unit 5 hasn't had to play against that yet in this series. Hopefully, we'll see more of it in Game 5 after this one. But first, Cleaner Crew has to win this right here, 2 minutes, 22 seconds. That's very, very doable. They should, and I was right before as well, they have nades left over from the last game, the last round.
Sawed off here.
So we are going to be seeing a very tight game here. This is it, folks. This is match point for Cleaner Crew. If they lose, it's done. It's over. It seems as though we may unfortunately have a bug in the game that will force a restart. So we may end up needing to back out of this lobby and create a new one. Fortunately, that happens sometimes. Bugs and glitches do occur. There's not really anything we can do about it. Yes, we're going to have to back out, unfortunately, because Unit 5 is unable to select more than one of any class of Ridden, and that is a bug that renders the game unplayable. So, unfortunately, the game is going to be canceled.
Alrighty. So we're going to have people back out, and we should be pulling back into the lobby soon enough.
Today's totals on
Our mic's hot. Alrighty, so we're going to be coming back into it with that unfortunate bug pulling us back out. But it is going to set us up from scratch this game, pulling us into... I forget this map name all of a sudden. I really like this map. Nurk?
I didn't see which map it was. I was tabbed out. This is... Oh, I can't remember either, but
no.
I'm sure everyone recognizes
chat, if you want to roast us, I'll take the blame.
Casters don't know the map names. It's very unfortunate. We're still learning too, all right? The game is fairly new, especially as an esport. Anyways, unfortunately, bugs happen. There's nothing for it but to move on. The game itself was pretty close at least, so hopefully doesn't change the results too much. I personally am of the opinion I think Cleaner Crew was about to bring it back and go to a round 3 anyways, and from there it would have been anyone's game. Nope. We'll start from this game. This is the new game 4 in our series, and that's just what we'll have to play from. No comp changes on the side of Unit 5, which is to be expected. They've been doing pretty well so far this series, so they're not very worried. We'll have to see where they play. I bet it will be up on the center where most teams play in the middle of the trucks, because that's where DBD is going to have the best lines of sight to deal with Stingers and Wretches. Meanwhile, Cleaner Crew now has a difficult situation on their hands because snipers are very powerful in this map. So, leaning into this, could be a problem for them.
And Stinger's right off the bat trying to take some angles, get some points farmed up early, taking opposing angles all the way back on the top of the garage. Probably knocking the mom off the high ground early. That might be an opportunity for them to get some damage on her. And the Pyro taking them out.
over there.
Yeah, well, at least the propane got used in the very first fight. That's pretty good for the Cleaner Crew, actually. Just gonna need some horde clear here up top. Got that perfect 180 off angle from the Cleaner Crew Stingers. Take a look at that. That's pretty scary. And I also should point out, this is an M1 in the hands of DBD. That is not a Phoenix or a Barret. That makes him significantly less scary. Bit of an unlucky draw there. Gonna have to find him one of those ASAP.
Oh, that is a very early knock. Consistently, this dock has been being knocked. And first off, it looks almost like they're splitting off. are trying to go for these aggressive plays, taking out the Stinger, and right there, the M1 showing that it is not the best for what we're looking for. And the nade not instantly killing the tall boy, getting a knock onto the mom, forcing the res off to Carly. Carly might get taken out themselves, though, from these Stingers.
Gonna have to med kit themselves. They had another nade in their back pocket if things got messy, but they got greedy with that, not spending it with the tall boy and the Stinger right on them. I think they could have got a double. Anyways, they're fine as it is. Next Stinger in. Are they gonna die? Yes, they are. Mom's looking low, but still under control.
Tall boy trying to go for an overhead slam onto the high ground to get the knock onto the mom, but they missed the shot. Second tall boy re-engaging, getting some hits, knocking mom off the high ground again. They might be able to get a knock here.
Now they still have another propane to play, which is good news for Unit 5 here as they near the 2-minute mark.
And that is a knock on the dock once again. Carly going in for the res. Stinger's getting a lot of value, not having the power of the Phoenix or the Barrett. That is going to be a knock onto the mom as well, not being able to use their mom res. If Carly is able to pick up mom, they might be able to get an instant res on the dock here and stabilize pretty quickly. But that is Carly knocked on the ground. Eventually is the one remaining here, and he's going to be playing for time now, I believe.
I may even notice they are only running, Unit 5 is only running one Inspiring Sacrifice here in round 1. To be honest with you, I think if it had been 2 or 3, that might have been a different story. That Carly almost lived, but when the Inspiring Sacrifice ended, they only had 9 health. That's enough for a Stinger to instantly down them again. I don't think that would have been the case. They were running a second Inspiring Sacrifice.
Dig in and hold them back.
Man, that was a very intense round here. We're going to be seeing them pull back onto the Stingers here. And... oh, no. Wait.
We'll have to see if Cleaner Crew is going to go back to their spot in the garage. We saw them do that earlier as well. That worked pretty well for them. And then, in fact, when the other team tried to copy it, when they tried to go into the garage to also hide in there, didn't end well for them because the Stingers have multiple preset angles that they could shoot through. Try to attrition them down. Also, I believe at one point a wretch that spawned in there and had been waiting to cover the whole thing in goo for the tall boy to enter. Anyways, point is, there's a lot of ways that this can play out with 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Both of these teams really showing up for this prize money, bringing all these games as close as possible.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be very interesting to see if they're going to try going for that indoors play. I know they were doing it on their previous maps, some of the games with Cleaner Crew. That's going to play directly into the strategy we're seeing from Unit 5. They may want to just be playing in the open, not let them actually get up close and personal as much as they can.
Like there is going to be barbed wire and propane set up on the entrance to the garage, so they have shown their hand. Unit 5 now knows what Cleaner Crew's plan is. What we're looking for now is for Cleaner Crew not to greed during their scavenger phase. I brought it up before, I'll bring it up again. Got lots of resources as long as they are all together.
And Inferno, first time getting an immediate knock, forcing resources and pushing them out. That is why you do not greed. Holly getting knocked immediately.
It doesn't matter that it's only 2 seconds behind. You're not there when the timer ends. That's the result.
More resources being pulled out, forcing them to try getting a heal here and getting anti-heal almost now. That is an incredibly quick anti-heal buy.
Yeah, to be honest with you, this is pretty disgusting already. Another instant redown. They need to be able to run out here and use nades if they want a full reset. It's doable, but, I mean, it's expensive. More explosions coming in. Can we get another re-knock, or is this Bruiser going to go down? Looks like he is, but maybe too slow. And the next Bruiser's ready to go in right after.
And the tall boy, or Bruiser, coming back in, getting close enough. Maybe gonna AoE cancel to get the knock here, but it is not enough. I think the tall boy, or the pills making the difference there. Getting an immediate shot onto the wretch, getting a lot of pressure. It's 1 minute in, and we've seen so many resources used on the side of the Cleaner Crew.
Looks like DBD getting pushed. That's not going to end well for him. Not a good spot to find yourself there, Death, and that means no way to capitalize on them being in transition. Great play there from the cleaner crew to make that happen.
Very big exploder play, getting a lot of value off the top, splitting everyone up. Tallboy's engaging here, being able to split one of the targets off, trying to force this. You can see the target priority actually in voice comms as our good friend Inferno here looks back, changing target immediately. Mom being taken down, knocked on the ground right now, and we don't have any Tallboys to actually contest this. Res Exploder coming in, knocking him into the swarm, and that is going to be a permanent kill without a defibrillator.
Yes, for the last 30 seconds here, we are looking at a 2v4. They can still do this. There's a red barrel still in play. They have to play this fight. I don't know if they know where it is. Maybe they weren't keeping track of it. Instead, they've opted to split up and perhaps take simply too long to go finish. But I don't think that's a problem for Unit 5 because they've got 2 tall boys. They can be in 2 places at once.
Man, that once again in the preseason games, even on this map, exactly with some of the same players, we saw the value that the red barrel is, and if you don't keep track of it, you're giving up the utility. It has made a difference in multiple games, and people keep forgetting about the utility the red barrels provide.
Man. Well, now we are in a similar situation we were in before the bug took over. Unit 5 up 1, back to it being a match round for poor cleaner crew. Gonna have to make this happen. You're on a stinger-friendly map, so they do at least have that going for them. Gonna be looking to see where the red barrel spawns.
Very interestingly, we are going to be pulling in the pain train today. And at this station, you know what? We have a lot of environmental kills. I'm hoping to see some stalker coming in and trying to pull him into the drink. Because if that is not resable. There is no defibrillator on the planet that's going to bring you back from that. That would be an incredibly high value play. We saw some in the preseason, and I'm hoping to see some tonight.
Well, as they lock in here, we're going to be looking to see where the red barrel is, looking to see where the propane is, looking to see where they put their stockpile and where they're planning to hold, because all of those things determine exactly how viable it is to run Stalker on the side of the Ridden. The cleaner crew lock in a Stalker. Not a lot of people run stun guns, because usually the CC characters don't see a lot of play, and especially in today's games, no Hawker either. So there's absolutely no CC. Red Barrel, all the way out here on the coast, that is a scary spot to have to play if you want to actually use it. We'll have to see exactly what they're going to end up doing. Looking for a lack of greed for both teams here. Don't give him anything to capitalize on. Notice how Carly is not yet going for the card. He knows he's going to have to wait for his team to be with him, win a fight first, then go for the card. Control the spawns. That's more important.
And Tallboy coming up, trying to get some value, knocking the Carly off of the high ground here. And they go a little bit too far, not getting a consecutive shot. Singer's getting a little bit of pressure, tickling them back on their head, getting two angles separate from each other as the Tallboy re-engages, getting Mom incredibly low. One more hit and they may be able to get a knock. The Stinger re-engaging to follow up. The Mom res coming out instantaneously on the Evangelo, letting them try to sustain this fight. The Inspiring Sacrifice no longer proccing on them. It's going to be very difficult for them. That is a triple nade coming in from Taki this night.
Absolutely disgusting. Will completely allow for a full reset. Notice we still have Death running the M1 instead of a Phoenix or Barrett. He needs to try to find one of those other two guns. This is severely hampering his ability to deal with the Stingers.
Ooh. Doc getting knocked instantaneously, but we do see them wipe, resetting with a singular nade here. And the Stinger coming in up close and personal. It seems like the build is coming in. We saw that damage reduction from the leap defense, allowing them to get up in their face. Tallboy getting wiped here, and they're going to try playing this Red Barrel.
I believe that is the plan for this next fight, is the Red Barrel. Try to make it so that the Tallboys have to be near you. I'm surprised the Cleaner Crew haven't gone Stalker to at least try to go for a environmental kill.
Very early double knock coming in here. Stinger's getting up close and personal, landing the shots, but having the M1 isn't enough damage. It's not enough burst, and it's going to be Doc left, and that should be a wipe.
Wow. I'm not really sure how that happened. I think I must have missed something. One thing I know for sure, the red barrel went unused, and there was definitely a stinger near it. Someone dropped the ball there, because I'm pretty sure it was the stinger that ended up getting the kill. Who went down
So far,
first? Was
so
it
good.
Mom? Was it
Don't
Death?
get cocky. This isn't
I
over
think
yet.
it was actually the Evangelo here.
Wow, that is an impressively low time. That's actually terrifying now for Unit 5 because Cleaner Crew knows, they know that they can carry util into round 3. This is going to be difficult for them. They need to force as much util out as possible from Cleaner Crew in the 1 minute and 39 seconds they have. Odds are actually killing them in the 1:39 time is going to be impossible. We are almost definitely going to a round 3 here. But if they get enough util out, at least they know they'll be on even footing for the next round.
Very,
Then
very
again-
strong performance.
Then again, the environmental kills are still on the table and could absolutely make a 1:39 time possible.
If I am the Unit 6 right now,
Unit 5.
Unit 5, sorry, I'm counting up with how excited I am tonight. I am feeling pretty good here, right? You need to get 1 minute, 40 seconds, and that will guarantee you the win here tonight, right?
I mean, Cleaner Crew has more of a mountain to climb, right? I mean, sure, the game looks like it's really in favor of Cleaner Crew right here in this snapshot, but if Cleaner Crew wins this, then they have to win round 3. Then we're going to a game 5. They have a lot to watch for here. I mean, this specific situation is still an uphill battle for them. They did well there. They should be very proud of themselves, but they can't stop now. They can't lose the momentum. They have to keep at it. I see no stalker coming out from Unit 5. Unfortunately, Death searching for a spot to spawn, can't find one. Gonna have to go back to the default spot. And Keith is already down.
Tallboy hard engaging here. He's trying to split one off, but the nade is enough to keep them at bay. And there is a lot of wretched damage. That is raining money right into your bank account if you're a Ridden here tonight.
That is a disgusting amount of ticks from the Wretch, and he's going to get to do it again. No one's looking at him. Honestly, maybe they do get another kill.
Oh. And Tallboy's re-engaging here, getting a nice B-hop off the top, getting the magnet right onto the face of this sad sob here, letting the other Tallboy finish the kill, and they're going to try to split them off. Doc being the first to knock tonight, and a second knock. Oh, the damage reduction from Hills, I believe, getting that, keeping them alive there for that hit. And
This
they're
is
going to
great
just keep
and all.
them in the room. That is 2 more knocks.
I want to know, where are Cleaner Crew's nades? They are only seconds away from losing the entire tournament. What happened? It was a minute 39. It should have been in the bag. How are they in this situation? They might actually lose this round here and now. It could be going to Unit 5 as the next tall boy comes in.
And that's game. They didn't use your utility.
I don't know how that happened either. Perhaps they got too literal with the idea of saving nades for the next round. They dropped the ball. They skipped a step.
I have to say, I think that this victory here, and congratulations to Unit 5 for being the Riptide Tournament Swarm winners tonight. And I think that was single-handedly that quick of an assassination from the teams is on the back of all that wretched damage that they were able to output on the high ground there. 4 player ticks over the course of 8 seconds. That is single-handedly ruining the economy for our good friends Cleaner Crew.
Well, in the meantime, like you said, congratulations to Unit 5, our first Riptide Swarm champions. We can go show it on the bracket now as well, I believe. Wow, what a set. What a set. I was sure it was going to go to a game 5 from that game state. I don't know how Unit 5 managed to bring that back.
Man, what a wonderful set of games we had tonight. We had faces from all around the gaming community, some from EU, I believe, a bunch from NA, West Coast, East Coast. And I just want to say congratulations to everyone. It was an absolute blast casting for you all tonight. And once again, congratulations to Unit 5. You all brought yourself together for the tournament tonight, and you showed the potency that can bring.
Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for playing. I know I brought it up a couple times before, but again, we have a button down below. You can offer tips for us on the broadcast crew, as well as all the staff that helped put together and moderate the matches and rule book and everything like that. We love doing it. We're not doing it for the money, but if we have a little something in our pockets at the end of the day, it can make it easier for us to spend more time on it in the future. Wow, I'm speechless. And don't feel too bad for Cleaner Crew either, because they're going to be walking away with the second place prize pool money as well. That's going to be $40 total, $10 per player. I'm floored. That was some amazing Swarm that we just watched.
That was very good, and I am excited for the next time we come in and get some games going. However, before we call it a night, if you did like what you saw tonight and you want to participate and maybe, dip your toes in it, every Tuesday, we host pugs for Swarm. They're completely automated and balanced with a bot that we got built by our good friend Heathen. And they are completely automated. They will pick players for you and give you a temporary MMR. If you're interested in it, the games will be as balanced as they can be. The more you play, the more you'll get to play them. And the more balanced they'll be.
The more you play, the more you get to play them. You sound like me right now. You sound like me earlier.
Sorry, I'm still amazed by the games that we just saw. If you want to play in those or check it out, you can join the Discord link in our area below us. And man, that was a amazing night of Swarm that we saw today.
I had an absolutely fantastic time. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Sai. Thank you to all the amazing teams and players that participated. I also want to give a special shout out to our broadcaster, who you guys haven't heard once tonight. That is Kingfish, one of the leaders of the Riptide. He's been behind the scenes, controlling the scene transitions, whispering in our ears, controlling the camera views. He's been doing an absolutely fantastic job, and you should see the job that he has to do. He's balancing a ton of stuff to make the stream what it is right now, and I'm very, very proud of him.
So speaking of which, do we think we could try getting into the Unit 5 chat and actually see what's going on in there?
Yeah, why don't we see if we can get an interview going?
Alrighty. Let's see. Hold on.
Moment.
Let's hop over.
We're gonna have our moderator see who wants to interview for us, and we can hop down into a chat for it real fast.
Alrighty. Well, I am so excited to have these games go the way they did tonight. And once again, if you guys are interested in anything that's going on in the Riptide, pugs, tournaments, anything we do in the future, maybe we'll have some more endeavors. Who knows? You can check out the Twitter that is also in the description below. We post memes, we post updates, and just general news. Check that out. We also have a YouTube channel that is also in the description, where we'll be posting the VODs edited down and put into each individual game. If you want to subscribe there, you should be able to get updates and the videos. And we also put some videos there that won't be just VODs.
You may or may not be looking into some guide content at some point. Not a promise, but it's a promise.
Blink twice.
I'm not blinking at all. My eyes are very dry because I've been staring at this screen and casting for quite a while.
5 hours, 10 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Well, let's move on. Anyways, so now that we're done, and while we wait for an interviewee, Sai, why don't you go ahead and tell me who is your MVP for tonight?
My MVP for tonight, I think that DBD probably stole the show, but there was a consistent and powerful, you could say there was a fire in their belly for my good old friend Inferno. He was playing very consistently all night on that Carly, keeping people up, keeping people alive with that smelling salt build. And I think it's got to go there. I think that is a spearhead for their team.
Well, I'm going to go with the obvious answer. I think it has to be DBD, otherwise known as Death. I mean, the man is just insane. He just hits every shot that you put in front of him. So I have a confession to make. DBD does not. The reason this team, Unit 5, was put together just for the tournament was at least partially because DBD's team couldn't participate, and that's because I'm on DBD's team. So also, so is Fish, our broadcaster behind the scenes. He wanted me to remind you. Just told me that. And having played with him in numerous scrims, we were very sad when we realized we couldn't realistically participate in our own tournament because we had so much other stuff to work on. But DBD, he absolutely can. There's no reason we couldn't split up and let him go join the team. And the man is he's so unbelievably consistent. I mean, you tell him that his job is to snipe stingers, and he will just do that. And he did that for Unit 5 this whole time. And I know earlier, before the tournament started, I was also in DMs chatting with him, and I was in voice chatting with him, and he was talking about how he's taken a lot of what he learned playing on a team with Fish and I, and another one of our moderators, Infinitissimo, that is Team Riptide. He took a lot of what he learned playing with us, and he applied it to Unit 5. And I'm kind of honored to be playing on a team outside of the tournament with one of the winners from the Riptide Swarm Tournament. And so, biased or not, I'm absolutely going to give DBD the MVP. Looks like we have an interview set up in just a moment with Inferno. Is voice ready to go?
Alrighty.
Right.
So we're going to go hop over real quick. Hi, how you doing, Inferno?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. First off, I just want to say, on behalf of the Riptide team, congratulations on your guys' amazing performance tonight. How's it feel?
Great. It's just the whole time, every one of us is just like, idling on 11. Just trying to make sure to keep our focus. Do what we need to do, and fortunately we were able to pull that off, and we got it done.
Well, you should be very, very proud of yourself, and you're going to get some money as a reward for your great play tonight. So I have some questions. So we know that this team in particular, Unit 5, got put together for this tournament. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So how long before today were you playing together?
I want to say we talked about it maybe a week and a half ago. I got together with Keith and kind of figured this upcoming one we would try to see what we could do. And then at the start of this week was when we kind of got our pieces into play. I played with Taki previously, and he said he was looking for a team. Hit him up right away and got him on the team. And then Death was one of the people I had considered asking to play, but for some reason it didn't occur to me that you guys weren't able to play in this tournament until, I don't know, maybe a day or two later. So I would say maybe 6 or so days. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. Don't put money on that. But yeah, about a week ballpark.
Well, I think just about everyone will agree that that is an impressively low amount of time you have playing together for how put together you felt.
Yeah, and I should correct that too. We played a little bit in this last weekend, very little bit. Most of our play time, I would say 95% of our play time was strictly Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like just these days.
Well, that is very impressive. And, just a kind of general question. What is something, why do you love Swarm? Like, what about it is something that, keeps bringing you back?
Like,
what drives you?
This is going to sound really basic. I just like playing as the zombie. Whatever
no,
the
that's
means.
Fair.
Like, this could be such a different variety of play types. And as long as I'm the zombie, you've already got my interest. So that's really cool. I played a lot of Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2. So, already have all that sort of love for that type of gameplay. And this is pretty functionally different from, the PvP campaign that everybody knows and loves in Left 4 Dead.
There are a lot of transferable skills from Left 4 Dead?
I mean, some. General FPS skills, I suppose. Most of the infected function pretty differently. I mean, for instance, even though the Retcher has a spit, the arc is different, right? A lot of that. So, but if you're good at Boomer, you can probably aim Spit as a retcher with a little less difficulty than someone that's brand new. But yeah, otherwise, most of the mechanics are pretty different. I mean, the Stalker is the Hunter, but we didn't use it. It's very different in a lot of ways, which is part of why it's so fun. I mean, the card system is a whole other awesome aspect of the game as well. So, yeah, it's just a lot of fun, I think.
Well,
I've
I'm
another
happy to
question
hear
or
it.
two. I have another question or two too, unless you have one, Sai.
No, you can go.
So I was going to ask, coming into the tournament, did you have any set strats that you planned for, or did it just sort of happen organically as you went through your matches?
Oh yeah, there was an absurd amount of planning. Like just about everything that we did almost was planned to some degree and tested to some degree.
I could tell.
In some pubs, we did a lot of going over our decks and really fine tuning what we felt worked, what we felt didn't work. And then of course beyond just that, in strong cards, what worked within our group, how we wanted to play, and how we functioned as a unit. Same thing for kind of some map setups. It's a little tricky to practice some of those because of the way, it's not like a source game. You can just load in,
Right.
no clip, spawn, bang, 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 you go here. So a lot of that was kind of live fire testing in pub games, some scrims as well. And of course, there's like 18 swarm maps. So there seems to be a consistency of cycling the same maps when you're playing. I don't know why that is or how that works. So today, in the last set, we got probably 3 of our least played maps ever. So that was where a lot of the on the fly kind of like, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. Okay, let's do it. And the execution of those plans really came into it. Like
Well,
that last
you played-
map was just nightmarish, especially with SD Stinger. It just got me crying.
You played out of your mind, all 4 of you. Cleaner Crew also played well. So another question I have is, were there any moments in your grand finals match tonight where you had any doubts, including the one unfortunate game that had ended up having to get canceled due to a player pick bug? Were there any moments where you doubted that you were going to win?
Well, I mean, that also kind of presumes that we assumed we were going to win to begin with. I always feel like it's up in the air going into it. It's like, look, maybe however strong you think you are, you could lose. That's just a fact, right? And these are some of the best teams out there. So we went into it kind of feeling like the underdog here. We'll do what we can, might lose, but we could also put on a pretty good show. And just over and over again, it's just nonstop. Like, hey, whatever happens, just keep the plan going. Think back to the plan. It's never over till it's over. Every match is the final match, and you just kind of keep that mentality. And it's just all about consistency there. We had a couple of moments of some miscommunication between us, but we addressed it and we were able to pull it together.
Well, pull it together you did, for sure.
I do have one question actually, and this may be just something that me and the Nurk over here have been having, just scratching at our minds. Hawker, did you guys ever have the idea to swap to it, or was the idea there but you decided not to because of your strategy?
Not really. I mean, we played around a little bit in our practice with other classes and things like that. Like there's some alternate subclasses that, as potential like alternate strats, some of which we didn't have to really pull out. Hawker is one that is kind of, if you have 2 or 3 people down, right, they manage to grenade wipe your whole squad or something like that, and you think that they have some way to continuously survive as a single person running the clock, that's one of those kind of moments where you're considering it, but it was never really on the table for our main deck. The projectile speed is a little slow. It's got this kind of crazy dip when you shoot it, so you're kind of forced to jump in melee range. It's to really like guarantee the hit. Otherwise, you're just sitting there waiting for the next one. And don't get me wrong, if you land it, it can be really really strong. But the other part is, strong teams will have awareness and communication. They'll go over, they'll punch their buddy in the face, and now the dude's not stuck anymore.
Yeah.
So we just felt like the comp that we kind of picked ended up being our most consistent and strong kind of over all of our test games, as well as our strengths for what we're good at playing.
Awesome. That is very insightful.
One final question before we let you go, and you've been a fantastic interviewee. You can have the floor. Is there anything you want to say to all the viewers in the stream right now?
Play Swarm, play Back 4 Blood. Good games. I mean, that was such an intense the tournament in general. We needed a couple minute breaks here, and that was great. So yeah, I don't know. Long live Riptide, I guess.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Inferno. Again, this has been Inferno, team captain from Unit 5. Absolute blessing to have you in the voice with us, to have you in our tournament. Congratulations. We'll be getting in contact with you sometime in the near future for prizing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, see you around.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And also, right before we go, I would like our glorious broadcaster over here, Fish, who has been sitting in the shadows and kind of having probably a really hard job. I'll be completely honest. You want to say some words to the stream? You know, let them hear your glorious voice.
The only
Maybe.
thing that I would want to say is thank you everybody who came out to the games tonight. They're super fun to broadcast over. The casters did an amazing job tonight over the games. Hopefully we get some good content up for YouTube as well. The mod team is amazing here. Couldn't have done it without everybody helping us to keep the games in check. And yeah, love the community. Can't wait to do more events.
All right. And with that, we will bring it into a close here. Thank you all for coming out and watching. Thank you again to all the amazing teams who participated. Everyone put up a great fight, showed great sportsmanship. I had an absolute blast, and I think so did Sai.
This was absolutely amazing. And I think this will conclude the first Riptide Gaming Swarm Tournament. If you want more, check out the Discord, Twitter for updates, and I think that's going to be it for tonight.
I believe so. We will see you guys around.
Catch you on the flip side. Peace.
You are not a tree. Just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are. Every time I think about all the things I live without,